Oh yeah, it was on offer.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well,
it's cheap, that's why I bought it.
well, on that merry note, we'll start the show.
Hey.
Welcome to Cutting Through the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I am Ben. I'm joined by Gaz.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
And a cat.
Hey Chester.
And this week we're going to talk about the disappearance of Malaysian Airways Flight 370.
Malaysian Airlines. Was it MH370?
MH370.
That's it.
So, but before that, we've got some,
as usual,
some weird news.
So I haven't got any news this week, so I'm all ears for you guys.
So, Mike.
Yeah, we got some weird news.
Put up our professional display.
Oh yeah, I like this. Makes me feel like we're proper.
This is my favourite piece of the week. The Flat Earth Society, who I have an ongoing feud with about my shillism.
Shillism.
And basically this chap, he's called Mad Mike. He doesn't believe in science.
Is that on his birth certificate?
No, that's what he calls himself.
Well, should we read the headline?
Yeah. The headline is, Flat Earther to launch himself in homemade steam rocket Saturday. It's been postponed, apparently.
Yeah.
Mad Mike. It's been postponed. Oh, no, why? Technical...
The authorities, man. They're
Oh!
clamping down on him.
And I bet that's just confirmed to him, hasn't it?
Yeah.
He's like, see? It's flat.
They won't let him because it's in a built-up area.
Oh,
he doesn't have permission on the land or something.
Oh.
And he's got a steam-powered homemade rocket. You
Steam-powered?
know, steam-powered.
Isn't he wanting to go 40,000 feet in it?
Something like that. But you know what the best of this is? He's built a steam-powered rocket. It's homemade. It's cost him about 20 grand.
Right.
He doesn't believe in science. How can you build a rocket, a steam-powered rocket?
Oh no,
don't believe it.
1,800 feet he wants to launch himself, sorry, go on.
How can he not
high.
believe in science when he's using science to make the rocket?
I say 40,000 feet
And-
freeze me down.
And to be honest, I'm a bit concerned. Like, it shows you that I've really fucked up in life. A man who doesn't believe in science has got £20,000 lying around that he can fucking spend on building a steam rocket. Fuck me, Mad Mike's not that mad.
He's a limo driver, mate. That's not even a...
I'm in the wrong fucking...
But still, you're just a van driver. He's a limo driver. He's higher up the driver scale than you.
Yeah, he has to wear a suit to work. Fucking
Yeah.
toughy nose.
Do all the different types of drivers hate each other?
There is now. I've got. There's a hierarchy in all things, Ben, and especially in van drivers. Now you see, I look down my nose at the Tesco van driver with his uniform and his restricted van and his minimum wages. The UPS man, he looks down his nose at me because he's got a much better van than me, brand new and a good uniform, probably better wages. But we all look down our nose at the guy who drives the van that collects the tampon bins.
Is there such a man?
Yeah.
I've never seen a tampon collection
Oh
van
yeah,
trotting around.
PRS health services, stuff like that. There's basically their job is you go to a place and you empty the feminine hygiene bins.
Here comes the tampon.
Not quite the same, Mike. Not quite the same.
Listen, I've seen these vans when they open up on the side and there's just like they take a clean bin off and put like a dirty one into a rack, and we all look down our nose at him because imagine if he clips a curb and flips his van over.
Oh. Yeah.
So yeah, there is hierarchy, and the limo man, even though he's a flat earther, will probably be looking down his nose at me. But so he thinks he's gonna go 1,800 feet up or 18 whatever, and be able to just look out and see the ice wall, I guess, or the dome, or...
Well, I think he'll go up. How far is he going?
1,800 feet.
1,800 feet.
800 metres.
Would you be able to see the curvature of the Earth from that point?
800 feet, 550 metres.
Probably not.
I doubt it. It doesn't sound that high, does it?
No.
I mean, because, think about it, when you're in a plane, aren't you at like 10,000 feet?
Oh, you can be higher than that, yeah.
Like, I've never seen the curve of the Earth from the plane.
You can, though, apparently,
Oh,
to a
in
point.
some places.
Yeah. Are you becoming a flat earther?
No, I'm just, saying that planes. He's not going as high as a plane, is what I'm saying. So he expects to be able to see more than. Why doesn't this fucker? He could have spent £1,000 on like a flight to Australia instead of building your own shitty little thing that's going to go 500 feet. Go get on a fucking plane and look out the window.
He probably could have spent 20 grand on getting a flight in something that goes virtually suborbital, you know.
But it's just...
Couldn't he though?
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, you can get you can buy your way onto stuff like that.
Should we listen to what he has to say?
Go on then.
I don't believe in science, Hugh said. I know about it. Sorry, we can't leave that one, can we?
What's he saying?
I don't believe in science.
I know about aerodynamics and fluid dynamics and how things move through the air.
Aerodynamics is science!
Yeah.
Fluid dynamics is going to be science.
About the certain size of rocket nozzles.
Science?
Well, that's not science, that's just a formula.
Oh!
There's no difference between science and science fiction.
Yes! Yes, there is! There's one glaring fucking difference and it includes in the fucking name. Is this man... Where is this man from?
America.
I'm not judging, but I knew you were going to say that. Fucking... What else is he saying? Has he got anything... A
raccoon.
What the...
He's going to build a raccoon, which is a rocket that launches after being carried aloft by a balloon that could get up to an altitude of 68 miles.
Oh, so he is going high up.
This is what they want to do.
Oh, this is eventually, isn't it?
Yeah. 68 miles up in a homemade rocket.
In a balloon.
No, launching from a balloon.
No, launching from a rocket.
But they tried that, like properly tried stuff like that back in the day, and where they would like drop a rocket-powered thing off from the bottom of a bomb.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
And it a lot of the time didn't work.
No.
And you know, there's a balloon up there with you. It's going to be a big ass balloon as well, isn't it?
Is he going to take a camera with him then to take photos of? Hopefully he's going to be able to see the ice wall.
Well, if it works, he's going to be going how many miles an hour? A fair few.
What did he say?
500.
Yeah, 500 miles per hour.
Is he going to be able to see much over 500 miles an hour? Because surely he's going to be screaming and shitting himself. He's going to be having every single bodily fluid motion happening to him at the same time, and his face is just
trying to prevent his skin from coming off. That's his main concern.
Especially when one of them steam pipes blows.
I think we could all just hope that this thing goes like the bloody Challenger and he just fucking explodes.
Yeah.
The thing is though, he's had donations towards this from people.
No. And I bet those same people wouldn't donate to like the Red Cross or something like that, you know. You've wasted your money, you fools.
He's just going to die.
He's going to fucking die, yeah. He really is.
He won't go through with it. It's just attention seeking.
Well, he doesn't believe in science, so I don't have confidence in his ability to make a fucking rocket work. Because, as the saying goes, it's not rocket science. The intonation is that rocket science is quite fucking difficult. Didn't the guy who invented jet fuel blow himself up by somebody quite important? I should know this. A very prominent scientist was mucking about in his garage and blew himself up. That's how he died. But he was an expert in bloody explosives and he blew himself up.
Oh, I don't know who it is, but I've heard the story. Yeah.
Rocket science. It's not brain surgery.
That's the Mitchell and Webb show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
Well, I've got a nice segue into the next piece of news.
Okie dokie.
Flat Earth. Ex-England cricketer and Ashes hero Freddie Flintoff is convinced the Earth is flat.
Oh fucking hell!
Fuck's sake!
And I used to like Freddie Flintoff, you know.
He's
a proper sportsman. He gets pissed all the time.
Yeah.
But hang on, he did do that boxing match, didn't he? Which he won. In all fairness to him, it may have been a bit of a reality TV show thing, but he won the match. No. Maybe he just got hit in the head really hard, and now believes in the flat Earth.
He told the Sun, "If you're in a helicopter and you hover, why does the Earth not come to you if it's round?"
Oh my sweet bananas of Christ.
Why, if we're hurtling through space, why would water stay still? Why is it not wobbling? Also, if you fire a laser about 16 miles, if the world was curved, you shouldn't be able to see it, but you can.
You stick to hitting little red balls with a fucking strip of wood, Freddie, and leave the big thinking to the fucking
people who get
adults.
paid for it.
Yeah, for fuck's sake, go and have a lager and stop. Don't worry yourself about it, man.
Yeah.
Even I'm not a scientist. Gravity. I've just answered all these questions, haven't I?
No,
Gravity.
flat earthers don't believe in gravity.
Oh, they will. If I throw them off, I've said this before, haven't I, on the Flat Earth episode, Mr. Flat Earther. If I launch you from the 10th story window, you are very quickly going to start believing in gravity as you become a pizza spread out across the concrete. But how can you not believe in gravity?
They think that the downforce is caused by the Earth hurtling through space upwards, and that's where we get downforce.
See. However...
Downforce. Downforce just caused my lighter to hit the floor of Mike's flat. I was wrong all this time. Downforce.
And
Newton's a shill!
and of course, every single photo of the Earth taken from space is also bullshit.
Yeah.
But by that argument, your mobile phone working is bullshit because they don't believe in space travel.
I use
so
GPS.
Therefore, there is no satellites in space. So
I
it's
use
all...
GPS for literally all day, every day. But Mr. Flintoff, because I'm not really into cricket.
No, neither am
was
I.
he-
I think
oh.
it should be abolished.
Is he a good cricketer? He's
He
a
was,
famous.
he was a good cricketer. Yeah. From what I
He's
gather,
all-rounder, wasn't he? What they call an all-rounder.
does that mean he's good at everything?
Yeah, he can bat and he can bowl.
And he
Okay.
can catch, presumably. That's an important
does
part of
help.
cricket.
And he was good at drinking lager and going to Downing Street
He
whilst
didn't
drunk.
Get
He
drunk
did-
on a pedalo.
He did
Yeah.
get rescued from a peddler while he was pissed.
But yeah, come on, Freddie. Do you think some of these celebrities, if they genuinely believe it, then God help us. But I think some of them, it's just keeping your name in it.
However,
He might be taking the piss because he's a bit of a joker in it.
Yeah.
He is a bit of a
But
joker.
He sounds pretty serious. He was
Yeah.
talking to the son about it anyway.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That fountain of journalism.
However, he doesn't believe it's totally flat. He claims it's shaped like a turnip.
Wouldn't that just be round then?
Because turnips got flat bottom and top, haven't they?
Yeah, but still.
And a bulge at the middle. Which is what the Earth is actually pretty
yeah,
much like.
The
Yeah.
Earth is like
But
sort
it
of
isn't,
wobble.
but it
isn't
isn't flat. It is still curved at the top a little bit. He thinks
Yeah,
it's dead
it's
flat.
It's a
at the top.
sphere, isn't it?
Oh.
Dead
Yeah.
flat at the bottom.
Ready.
I think this is a piss take then if he said turnip.
The middle is the North Pole. Around the outside is the South Pole, which is like a big wall of ice. This is why all governments now have bases on the South Pole.
Oh, no,
my
he's not taking
God.
the piss. He's gone for the North Pole in the
He's
middle.
gone
room.
full Alex.
He's gone for Fred.
I never thought I'd say this, but famous cricketer. That headline should say famous former England cricketer Freddie Flintoff has gone full Alex Jones.
And we've got another piece of news that goes back to one of our old.
Oh.
Dad captures chilling clip of ghost of monk of Pontefract peering at him through a museum window.
The Black Monk of Pontefract.
What did I say?
You should said Monk of
Oh,
Pontefract.
did I? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, it is the black monk. Yes,
So he's captured a chip. Can we see this clip?
we can't.
All right, let's have a look. We're watching the clip. There's
Well, there's a still.
Still,
Can you see it?
I'm looking. I
There's a
see.
picture in front of an old pub,
okay.
and in the window peering is apparently the black monk of Pontefract.
There's like there is something there, but
It looks like a shadow.
I
I would not look at that and think ghost.
well, because it looks like such an old pub. It looks like there's like a shitload of wooden stuff. That's the top of the fucking bar. Look how high the bar goes up. Oh, that's the bloody spirit shelf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's peering out of the top, isn't he?
Well, I claim.
Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. Pareidolia, bullshit.
If listeners want to go and look at that article up in the Daily Mirror, they're welcome to look for themselves.
The thing is, that's not even something. It's so like indistinct. It's not
Yeah.
even something I'd ever probably notice
No, me neither.
unless it was pointed out to me by a big red ring.
Is it the same shape on the other side? Look, I can see a skeleton's face. And a
Yeah, I can see
skull
some
and
skulls hanging up
Yeah.
actually on that one side of the
there's-
bar.
there's a
Yeah.
necklace of skulls.
Sounds like my kind of pub.
It's actually, yeah, I would like
Yeah,
it.
man.
Haunt ghostly black monks and skulls on
And
the
they'll,
bar.
they'll
Sounds
probably
like
have Trooper on tap. Won't
Yeah,
they?
oh, yeah. The jukebox will just be the Iron Maiden. Discography will be fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Statue of Lemmy in the middle.
Yeah, awesome.
We
Yeah.
all pray to as we mosh.
Fair enough.
Well, I didn't believe in ghosts anyway, so I don't know why this
Yeah.
photograph was
But
going to
it was in the
convince
news
me.
the other day, so I thought, well, it's something we've covered.
Yeah, well, we have coloured. I didn't colour in black. The black monkey was. Sorry, that was a terrible joke.
They wouldn't have had many black monks back then, would
I
they?
think it's just the fact that he's wearing a black robe rather than his race.
So he's not a reggae.
It sounds like
monk.
Black Monk of Pontefract.
Yeah, it's because he's wearing black.
It's a bit non-PC to call him that, though, isn't it?
It is,
And if we had a Black Vicar
Well, I don't
of
think he's-
Telford, we wouldn't call him the Black Vicar of Telford, would we?
Some people might.
Well, I'd probably call him worse, but not us.
And going back to another piece of news
Okay.
about old Vrillian,
Ah, really,
Vril.
the Palladians.
I read this article that you sent me, Mike, and I did find it a bit of a struggle because it seemed like a lot of words that meant different things. It seemed like a lot of words that didn't
Not
really mean
much
anything
meaning.
in the context they were being used in. And the chap does look a bit like a. Is that meant to be? Who is that meant to be? I can't remember.
That is James Gilliland, and that is the guy who is
He looks a bit like a druid.
basically he tweeted.
That's a very kind Ben. He looks like a dirty fucking
Basically.
hippie.
I was trying to be more PC.
Basically, he tweeted, "Heads up, all the councils agree Pleiadians are now in charge of the awakening, healing, and liberation of Earth."
But who are the councils?
Who's he?
The Council of Light, which is at Virillian's on.
Yeah, but hang on. Well, he doesn't know. All right, so all the councils agree. Well, how come he knows that? Is he one of these people who's getting automated messages through to him?
I assume it is, yeah.
I've just seen the word hyperdrive, Mike.
Ooh.
Heads up, all the councils agree Pleiadians are now in charge of the awakening, healing, and liberation of Earth. Gloves are off. Universal law will be the law of the land. The days of tyranny are over. The cleanup will go into hyperdrive. Now, November the 19th, 2017, it was finalised. Cleanup will go into hyperdrive.
Well, that's great. But
But wasn't Vrilly Boy all about the peace and the love?
he was now. The gloves are off. And
Yeah,
gloves
sounds
are
a
off
bit-
to me suggests like they're up for it now.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
as a citizen of the Earth, and this is being my planet, I'm not going to let these Pelagians stroll in here
No.
And improve my...
and improve my spiritual growth without me wanting to do it.
Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Brilliant? We will not be fucking enlightened.
I bet your fucking pretty boy don't like it up him, does he? Hey! Hey! Yeah.
Oh, we went full British.
That was from Dad's army.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know.
So basically, look, he turned up in the 60s,
Yeah.
had a bit of a whine about nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
It's taken him 40 years, nearly 50 years to get this in front of all the
Yeah,
councils.
now the gloves are off.
Then now the gloves are off. Speed up your fucking bureaucracy for one, mate. And secondly, where have you been?
Well, stop wanking and put your gloves back on. Stop having a space wank. The nukes are still here, really. It's no good. You're talking to us like we can do something about it.
Yeah, and
We're
you talking-
podcasters.
And why are you talking to James Gillian, who looks like he looks like, I'm going to quote Gaz, a stinky, smelly hippie, right? I mean, he does look like a bloke I'd buy drugs off at a festival. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
he looks like a bloke who would have a stall at a festival selling handmade satchels.
Yeah, and selling you weed at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah.
You know, why is he getting? Why is he privy to this information?
Oh.
And what?
You'll have to take it up with James Gilliland, won't you?
Well, I want to know why he's privy to this information, and I don't know.
I'll tell you what, why don't we
Theresa
contact
May
him?
isn't. I don't know.
Contact him on Twitter and we'll try and get an interview with
I
him.
would love that. I would love that.
Do you think I'm going to make it through an interview with him?
That's why I would love it. I think we'd get 5 minutes of audio from it. So, what's his name?
James.
So James, how do you communicate with the intergalactic beings? And he gets like 2 or 3 words out, and Ben's like, bollocks!
You're in the reggae bin.
Get in the reggae bin, James. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's my thing on this.
Oh, really?
No, you know the rules. That's not the reggae riff.
Really?
No. I already feel sick.
If you want to play reggae, you've got to get into some interdimensional gloop and play in another dimension.
Yeah, that's the rule.
Oh.
You want to play reggae? You strap yourself in the Matrix and go and do it in there.
But the thing is, I could just write a Facebook status now that says I've been talking to the council.
Exactly. What's the difference? I can tweet out I've been talking to the Galactic Council of fucking Palladians.
I think James Gillian's had one too many LSD trips. And yeah, he's attention seeking. He's a hippie doesn't mean he knows anything. I mean, he looks quite wise with the long silver hair. That doesn't mean
don't let that fool
exactly.
you, man.
It doesn't mean he has any knowledge. He's still an attention seeking weirdo.
He looks a bit like...
He looks like a predator. Allegedly. I'm sorry, because he is a real person, isn't he? Allegedly, James.
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd definitely buy his weed.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he knows a good joint.
Yeah.
But...
morals don't come into it when purchasing marijuana, to be perfectly honest. I'd buy from a serial killer if that was the only option. Or worse.
Probably have.
I'd buy from Hitler if I had to. This is 1 to 10 bag. This is a nice deal on this 20 bag. Sorry.
We got any more?
Yeah, one more.
One more news story.
Save My Ink Forever allows families to keep tattooed skin of loved ones after death.
Oh my god, I'm gonna puke in my mouth.
Does that mean that you're literally skinning someone's tattoo and putting it in a frame and hanging it on your wall?
That's exactly it.
God!
Wow.
That is the most surreal. It's like a fucking Saw movie.
That's like Ed Gein shit.
Yes! Why don't you
Future
make a
episode, maybe.
fucking lamp out
That
of
is,
it?
yeah, exactly.
Fuck
I've got all my mates' tattoos. I've
That
killed all
is
my mates,
rank.
took their tattoos. I've upholstered my sofa with them.
That is really... I find that horrific. I can't even see... I'm not even gonna...
No.
I think that is...
Would you have any of your tattoos framed if something happened to you? Would you say, well, you know what, I quite like that one?
I would not want any of my loved ones to keep any part of my body after death. I really think it should stay in one piece. I'm hoping I'm buried in one piece, because unless something really bad happens, you should be buried in one piece.
True.
There shouldn't be bits missing unless something really fucked up happens.
Also true.
So I would like my skin to still be on, I think. And who the fuck would... this is really upset me, Mike.
You know what, but wouldn't it be cool, someone you hate, right? Before death, you got a tattoo that basically, a little bit of block of text, maybe a middle finger, telling them what a complete and utter prick they are, yeah?
And get it sent to them.
And then get it sent to them after your death. So you don't even have to. Literally, you've got like a week to live, okay, great, do the tattoo, you know, get it on there, right, peel it off after my death, send it to him.
Could you put that into your will that, like, when I die, I want you to remove my penis and mail it to this company? Or to this
What company are you sending your embalmed penis to, guys?
The one I work for. As one sort of last, you know. Here, here's my dick in a
gold chain so they're right around her neck.
And the receptionist. Oh, I don't half miss him.
Now he's close to me arm.
He was such a good driver. Oh, she'd have a cock necklace.
And they can still enjoy you after you're gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd rather just have a plaster cast made of my dick. And I can send to someone as a dildo.
It's not quite the same thing though. It's not as personal as your own.
Nothing just I love you like sending your own, embalming your own penis and sending.
What am I talking about? Cutting your cock off, that's Mike's thing. That's Mike's perversion, not mine.
That's it. When I go to the desert.
He was turned down by that Russian cannibal chap.
You're too extreme for the Russian cannibal, mate.
Yeah, he said it wasn't even a snack, so he wouldn't you bastard.
I already have appetizers in the fridge.
Can I call it a piss break before we get into the meat and bones of our today's topic?
Certainly can. It's better than pissing yourself.
But it does give me a warm feeling, unlike reggae. And we're back from pissing. Well, I'm back from pissing. And beer resupply, which is important.
Great.
And let's talk about MH370, Malaysian Flight 370, Kuala Lumpur to Beijing.
Uh-huh.
And
Apparently with 60 flights a day, or something like that, or a week.
Is it really?
It was a popular...
Yeah. A popular... Well, I've lost the ability to speak. A popular route.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah. And what model plane was it?
It was a Boeing 777. It was departing on the 8th of March 2014, departing at the 12:41 local time with 227 passengers and 12 crew on board.
Yeah.
The airline loses contact with the plane. Still, weirdly, 1 to 2 hours of flight.
Yeah.
Into so sometime between the first and second hours of flight, the airline lost contact.
Yeah.
I don't know why no one can give it an actual time for that.
Why did you lose contact?
You said lost contact.
Well, the transponder stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Why was it? Yeah, transponder.
Well, from what I was watching online, transponder is something that would need to be switched off. Like it wouldn't just switch itself off.
Could it break?
Battery.
That's, I suppose, a possibility. But I saw a pilot saying online that to him it suggests it was switched off by a pilot or co-pilot. So yes, but it's stuck. And the transponder is, for anybody, I've only just learned this as well, so I'm no experto. But the transponder is basically the blip that is being sent back to radar. Yeah. It's how they're tracking the plane, and each plane has a
certain identification code.
Do they call it a handshake? Or have I got that?
That's correct. Yeah.
So yeah, it stopped after about 2 hours. It stopped and
a search and rescue was initiated.
Well, basically, it turned round, didn't it? Before they
we'll get to that.
All right.
We'll get to that. So let's do the timeline events, and then we'll go on to actually what.
Okay, so it's been in the air for an hour. The transponder's turned off.
Yep. Search and rescue is initiated.
Instantly, as soon as it turns off.
If they lose contact with the plane, I suppose they have to. It's meant to be over water, so yeah. Military radar. There's the Royal Malaysian Air Force determines a plane across the Malay Peninsula.
There's a lot of thing about this, isn't there?
There is the radar thing, and the whole Malaysian government are terrible at this.
That's one of my. We'll get into it at the end, but one of my theories is that the Malaysian government are really fucking around. Yeah. When we don't know everything, I don't think at all.
There's other countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. They don't want other countries to know the extent of their radar.
It's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true because they could feasibly know. They definitely could, but there's so many countries involved, and it's so sort of what's the word? International, politics. Sensitive, yeah. That you don't want to lay all your cards on the table, basically, and give away where all your radar stations are. So there could be a lot more information out there that we just are not going to know as the public.
Especially in the terms of, is it Cambodia, which is the longest running civil war going?
Bloody yeah.
Well, I'm not sure until recently, Tamil Tigers and all that. Is that Cambodia?
That's
Sri Lanka. Well, either way, where did Top Gear go? There was Burma. Burma.
Pol Pot.
Yeah, he was, but it was Burma, and they had the longest running civil war. I think it's been going since the 50s.
Jesus.
And it's also this Golden Triangle sort of area. So if you've got to fight in a civil war, you don't want people to know where your radar is, basically, do you?
And it's if you're looking at the map to where this. Where they've sort of lost contact with the plane. It's a huge expanse of ocean. It's giant, and
the Earth is 70% water.
That's it, yeah. And I imagine it's deep.
Oh yes.
Well, yeah, the Mariana Trench, isn't it?
It's the deepest, yeah.
And the bloke who made the Terminator films has been there.
He has.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? And he's he pops up in this story.
Does he?
He offered to help with his machine that he went into said trench with.
Yes, you're right, he did, yes, I'm reading that,
He offered to help with searching.
Weird thing is, on the plane, 2 people were listed as being on board, were not in fact passengers. There's an Italian and an Austrian passport had been stolen, so 2 people weren't supposed to be there.
Yes, but
that may or may not be apparent, as they were considered to be Iranian immigrants trying to get to Germany.
Yes.
That was where their end ticket was.
And apparently there's quite a bit of one of them, I was reading an interview with a guy who, these 2 Iranians stayed with this chap before they left, and I was reading an interview with him, and he was saying, I overheard them talking about their new life a lot, and one of the mothers of these guys who are now dead because they were on the plane, one of their mothers rings him to ask how was my son. She likes to hear how he was before, so I think there's a fair bit of, because my first thought was, oh man, it has to be them too.
Terrorism, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's migrant terrorism. It's trying to hijack a plane to get to the place you want to go, and then going, oh, I'm here now.
No terrorist organisation has ever admitted to it.
No, which they do like to brag about these things.
Yeah, they do usually. So yeah, I think those 2 are clear.
So let's move on to the next day, the 9th of March. So 40 aircraft.
What year this is? I don't think we mentioned it yet.
Oh, it's 2014.
And at this time now, there's obviously a lot of relatives and loved ones at the airport. In Beijing, where the plane should be, with no answers, nothing, not a sausage from anybody. So they're obviously not in a very good.
And this
state.
is one of the few times you'll see Chinese civilians argue against the authority.
Which was, it's not the done
it was
thing.
quite a big thing because I mean we'll get to it. It's after a couple of days, I think.
I actually saw some.
Malaysia, you mean? Not
No,
China.
China.
Oh, China.
Yeah.
Most of the people on the plane were Chinese, because if you think it was going back to China, it was coming from I'm ashamed, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. It was going from there, but it was going back to Beijing. And I actually saw somebody launch a water bottle at the head of a
Yes, they
official,
did. Yeah.
Which is understandable. I mean,
and shout liar. They were shouting liar at him.
If somebody I loved, the plane went down and there was absolutely they couldn't tell me anything. They were just
it's vanished.
God, I think launching a water bottle is the least of their. But it's like you said though, they're a very as far as to our knowledge, quite a reserved.
Oh well, they don't question what's happening. Do they in charge? The Chinese.
It's just not a done thing.
Actually, I read an article the other night about the Chinese government. They are considering a scheme. Basically, what behaviour you do. I sent the link to you, didn't I? I don't know if you read it, Mike. Where what you look at on the internet, they can monitor that and give you points, and those points depend on what you do in life. So if you spend your time on the internet looking at porn, they won't give you points. This means you might miss out on promotion, you might miss out on loans, a mortgage, car finance, because you're a bad person. Eventually food.
Isn't that like moral engineering?
Yep.
Social engineering.
It's I'm going to enforce your moral.
Exactly.
Behavior.
Yeah, we have to understand the Chinese come from a different position that we do in the West. We're very individualistic.
Yeah.
The Chinese is all about for the state, for the you make the sacrifice
good.
for the greater good. That is exactly it. Yeah, that is
the greater good.
So everything's built around that philosophy.
Yeah. But there must be like some rich kids who don't need these points and are just wanking away with glee.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine that the highest party members wouldn't have that point system in place for them and their families, because the Chinese are communist only in how they keep their people down and the way they govern things. Everything else is pretty much capitalist.
It's capitalist.
Yeah.
They make fucking great action films.
They do.
And very cheap plastic goods.
Yes. Very, very, very cheap plastic.
Awful goods.
Awful quality
I
goods.
bought an LED lamp from them. Do you remember
that looked like Optimus Prime's dildo. It was terrible, Gaz. It looked like a transforming dildo.
I never want to hear the words Optimus Prime's dildo ever again.
It was like £4 off eBay, and then I thought, that's the cheapest lamp out there. I'll get out on a lamp. Fuck me, had individual LED lights, yeah. When it came, only half worked to begin with. And then over time, they just all sort of went out.
You're lucky it didn't set fire and burn your flat down.
I sent an email saying, I want a refund, this is terrible. And she was like, oh no, I can't give you a refund, I'll lose my job and stuff like this.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And in the end, she offered me like £1.20.
Your phone's just lit up, you're not on airplane mode.
But
that's a beer.
It didn't make a sound though, so technically.
I don't know what the rules are, you see.
It's on airplane mode.
Did
we know we're 17 episodes in now.
He owes you a can of Coke.
You should know the airplane mode. You know the rules.
Should have reminded me.
No, you don't get reminded. This is why the beer next week. You want me a beer?
Man. Speaking of Optimus Prime,
I'm the only one not to drop a beer yet on this.
All right. I was reading a really good Transformers comic book called Primacy. There was quite a heavy political, ideological discussion going on between characters, and about 4 pages of this, I realised they fucking fooled me into reading a politics comic just because it's fucking robots saying it. I'm reading a fucking political debate, nobody's punched anybody in the face for like 4 pages, so I will read political comics if it's about robots, obviously. And the final thing on Transformers, my new lady friend, Optimus Prime's my favourite robot, Robocop's my favourite cyborg, Optimus Prime's my favourite robot, and one of my favourite fictional characters. And her daughter quite likes Optimus Prime as well, so she's been forced to watch a lot of the movies and things, and I was talking about Optimus, and she's like, yeah, he's alright. Bit self-righteous.
I'm just looking at Kaz's face. the look of like. It's my new lady friend, so I can't look too disgusting, but at the same time I'm looking at you with utter outrage behind the eyes.
A bit self-righteous. It's fucking hell. His catchphrase is, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. It's not self-righteous. It's dangerously close to fucking hippie talk, if anything.
If anything, it sounds a bit like Jesus.
And he does die and come back to life quite often.
Yeah, but that's for the best.
Yeah, God, they've milked that in every form of since that movie, in every fucking iteration of the comic book. You know it's, they fucking killed him again, and you're like, stop fucking with me, because I know he's coming back, and they always bring him back, and
I'd imagine he's one of the most popular toys.
To this day, yeah. But, wow, that was a tangent.
Oh, God. To continue that tangent further, right, I had a few minutes to kill up town, so I went. Sometimes I go in the entertainer and look at Nerf guns because I quite like Nerf guns. And I consider purchasing like a really cool one. So occasionally I just pop in there, and I turned around and there was some wrestling action figures. Right? Do you know what I saw? Our generation that had an action figure, the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Oh, awesome!
It was in the entertainer. And I was like. The 1, 2, 3 kid? He beat Razor Ramon.
Yes.
And they had a Razor Ramon one in there as well.
Oh, awesome.
And it was like, the one's fuck off. Fuck off.
Here's a very interesting factoid.
He did go on to be a half decent wrestler.
Yeah,
he changed his name and bulked up a bit. He was a skinny little runt, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's very talented. Razor Ramon, the guy who plays him.
I used to like Razor Ramon.
Scott Hall.
He was awesome.
In real life, he's killed a man. In real life.
Yeah, I know he's an alcoholic as well.
But not murder. He didn't murder a man. Before he was famous, he was a bouncer at a bar, and a guy pulled a gun on him, and they struggled and went to the ground, and the gun went out, and he shot the guy in the head. Cheers, dude. Which is one of the major contributing factors to his lifelong alcoholism and destructive. He's lived with the guilt of it. But I think it's awesome that he managed to get uber famous. But it's just weird to think that. It's one of the things I love about wrestling, the sleaziness of it that we were so unaware of as children. Oh, yeah. So we're little kids going, yay, Razor Ramon! And in his head is flashbacks of when he was in a car parking lot blowing a guy's fucking head off.
Yeah.
And I've got Bret Hart's Autobiography. One of my favourite matches ever. Remember when they did SummerSlam at Wembley?
Yeah.
Right?
He fought British Bulldog.
What a match. Great. Yeah. You read Bret's Autobiography. The British Bulldog had been on a crack cocaine binge.
No!
For 2 days previous to that match, and was so bewildered. At the start of the match, he looks up to Bret, and this is all in his autobiography, and says, I can't remember a fucking thing, Bret. I'm fooked. I'm fooked, Bret. And Bret, I love that Bret spells fucked, fooked, like F-O-O. How he would have taught. So there we are as kids going, yay! And the Bulldog is... Yeah, he's from Leeds. Yeah. And I love this clip from that thing in Wembley. I'm the British Bulldog, and we're here in my hometown, London.
It sounds like you should be in Glasgow.
All right. Anyway, the British Bulldog was on crack. All your heroes, all your 80s wrestling heroes were drug-addled fucking maniacs. They were fucking insane, which is why most of them are dead.
On that same day, have you ever seen the Jeff Hardy Sting match in TNA?
Oh God,
Jeff Hardy was off his face on drugs.
Oh yeah, he's fucked.
Sting was meant to defend the title. Hardy was meant to win it, and the match literally lasted 45 seconds because Hardy was so out of it. Sting just rolled him up, pinned him 1, 2, 3. Walked out, and Sting turned around to the crowd and said, "What do you want?" And just walked off.
What do you want me to do with that?
And he was like, "It's not my fault," or something like that. And he was just because he was so bad. But anyway, we're diverging.
So if Hulk Hogan was on this plane, it wouldn't be lost. Is all I'm saying, because he would have flown it back or carried it.
On the 9th of March as well, so 40 aircraft and more than 24 ships from several nations started the search. I always find it quite weird that one things we do all internationally cooperate on without question is search and rescue, which is nice in a way.
I was thinking, do you think this happens with planes because it's very important to know why they go down?
It's also
and everyone's got an interest.
Politically expedient because if you've got a national on that plane, you can't be seen to not be doing anything.
That's very true. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we sent some high tech, some stuff that we used to look for missing submarines to them. We did actually. We sent something. I can't remember what the ship was called. It's like, if a submarine gets lost, this is the stuff we send to look for it.
Again, the Malaysian bloody government. I did see one news report of there were days when all these high-tech search planes were just sat on runways doing nothing. I saw the footage because of just bureaucracy, just not, you know, they hadn't been told where to go or what to do. Sorry,
really?
Mike's being savaged by a cat. Yeah, I saw it. The planes all just sat there, and that's apparently down to the Malaysian. Because imagine it must be because China's quite an advanced, extremely advanced country, having to deal with Malaysia.
Yeah.
Over this, you know.
And you're gonna wonder how efficient they are. I mean, we see that. I mean, the general of the on the 9th of March, the chief general of the Royal Malaysian Air Force announces there's a possibility the plane turned around. Right? Nothing's been made official, but he's coming out and saying that. And at that point, that gives like false hope to anyone who's...
Yeah. Of course it does, yeah.
Because it's been hijacked. It must have been hijacked.
Yeah, and they mentioned it landing somewhere as well, didn't they? They were basically mentioning the rumours. I mean, the one thing you shouldn't have been doing for the sake of that family is repeating rumours as the government, do you know what I mean?
And when we say that, when we go back to the Royal Malaysian Air Force determines the plane had crossed the Malay Peninsula. Well, did they? I mean, who knows what they're... I don't know what the Royal Malaysian... Are they any good? What are they doing? I mean, I've never seen... You know, they're probably not very ranked amongst the most professional air forces in the world, are they? They're not.
No.
I mean, how good are their radar operators? Maybe not very good. Maybe they're tracking something else. Who knows? Maybe it was a UFO.
You know, do wormholes and black holes appear on radar?
Oh, let's not get into that till later on.
It's a fair question.
Continue the 9th of March. Let's move on.
From that fucking bollocks.
Yes, that bullshit. Staff at Inmarsat, who I had to go and look up, are a British satellite communications company. So you would argue that we at least know what we're doing when it comes to this kind of thing.
Malaysia's the next colony, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course we know what we're bloody doing.
No, I mean, in terms of technological knowledge, we're pretty quite good at this.
Yeah.
Of course we are.
We invented the thing.
We invented everything.
We bloody invented it, didn't we, Mike?
Bloody invented radar, you know.
Yes. Did you hear that? Bit more impressive than a bloody hot dog.
Happy Thanksgiving to all our American listeners.
Happy Survivor Series.
Happy belated, because it'll be going after Thanksgiving. Probably Christmas time. Happy Christmas time.
Whatever public holiday is closest to the time you were
Take back Black Friday.
Yes, stick it up your ass. But what I love though is I don't think anyone really gave that much of a fuck about it over here.
There's a great clip, isn't there? You got the American one. Everyone's pouring through and scrambling over and trying to wrench things out of people's arms. And you got the English one, it just opens up and one guy just walks in, dead calm. Another guy kind of walks in and then looks around and turns out again. That was it, one person.
And even if there was loads of people, then you go, sorry, after you, sorry.
Oh, it's so cute there.
Sorry, I trod on your foot, sorry.
After you.
Anyway, Inmarsat, using superior technological skills, we presume.
Yes.
They found the aircraft continued flying for several hours after it lost contact with air traffic control.
They did.
Right, so they are, at least they're coming out and saying, well, look, it did carry on going, it didn't just crash.
But what I found alarming about I saw a diagram of the position of the satellite, and it knows that it kept getting pings for that time, but it's basically saying it could have gone north or south. It went for X amount of hours, but it either went that way, north direction, or it went south direction, which gives you a fucking potential area that is so huge and vast and deep.
Oh god,
and
the Indian Ocean
wet.
is absolutely huge. That was.
And there's probably giant octopuses and all sorts of things that this plane could have been eaten by an octopi.
Mate, it flew low enough.
There's a movie about that. It's one of them sci-fi channel things.
Yeah.
I've seen a shark eat an aeroplane, you know, in one of those movies.
Really? That's good time on the shark.
Yeah. Mega shark versus mecha shark.
My money's on Mecha Shark.
Yeah, mecha shark, but it goes evil, turns rogue, and you sort of drive it like a tank or go in the sea. If they had more than £20 for a budget,
shark as a tank.
Oh, it was great. If they had more than I'm guessing about £20 budget, this film could have been fucking ace.
I'm picturing a massive robot shark with some little caterpillar treads on the bottom.
That's exactly it. That's
really?
Exactly it. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Could have took Malaysian Airlines.
Maybe.
Take my money.
I'd have a mecha shark.
As if sharks weren't scary enough.
Yeah.
Terminator shark.
So the 10th of March, we jump back to Malaysian Airlines, the Royal Malaysian Air Force confirms the plane turned back. Right? Then the 11th of March, Immersat come out and say, no, actually, it was what you said earlier, Gaz, about the pings. It was lost along one of 2 flight arcs, north or south. They passed that info on. So that basically the Royal Malaysian Air Force came out a day before and said, oh yeah, turn back. Turn back, definitely. And then Immersat, who's looked at the data, gone, no, actually, no, it's gone north or south. We just can't determine which. Yeah. Which in itself, as you'd think, would be better.
I'd hope that a satellite could give you... But then again, this satellite wasn't looking for that plane, was it? It just happened to... I guess when it went missing, somebody from this company just checked and was like, oh yeah, look, we've got evidence of those pings. I imagine if at that time they were trying to specifically locate, they maybe could have turned the satellite.
That's
true.
A bit more, true enough, yeah. More proactive.
Specific. Because I was quite shocked when I saw that diagram. I was like, bloody hell. So like, even if you knew definitely it just went north, you still got a hell of a job to search. But then you could be searching completely the wrong fucking area. A huge area. It's just crazy, isn't it? And it's, you know how people keep saying, I saw a lot of sort of stuff online, the news reports when I was researching, and people saying, how can you lose a plane of this size, you know? It's like, well, yeah, I know in theory it does seem quite scary to us, but when, like you said earlier, 70% of the surface of the Earth is water, it's quite easy to conceive of not being able to find something that fucking large. Okay, if it hit land, then I'd imagine us to be able to do it with satellite.
Oh, well, you see a massive scorch mark. Someone would find it sooner or later, let's face it.
Or with someone walking a dog, isn't it?
Yeah, although I'm disappointed as an avid dog walker myself. I've never found a body.
Well, actually, people did. There was, strangely, Courtney Love's attached to this story as well.
Oh, I never found her body.
Basically, I don't know who asked, but the internet basically chipped in to help. Everyone started studying Google Earth images and things like that. Just, you know,
that's nice.
You know, a comb, like the police would when they're doing a crime scene, step by step, but doing that digitally online. And Courtney Love was one of the people who was helping, and she thought she'd found a plane shaped.
Oh, she would, the fucking attention seeking. No, I'm not going to call her.
I don't believe it.
Guess someone else would write your music. Did someone else find it for her and she just claimed it was hers, like she did with her entire music career? Sorry. You murdered Kurt.
And then you murdered El Duce, you bitch.
Yeah.
How could you? It's allegedly one thing to rob us of Kurt Cobain, but to rob us of the genius of El Duce. And what was his freaking band called?
I can't remember the name of the band, but I know the song was called Donkey Dick.
Donkey Oh, Lord.
And allegedly, I feel we have to say allegedly after that.
Everything about that story is... A man who once wrote a song called Donkey Dick was killed on train tracks whilst drunk.
Yep.
Oh, God. Everything about that makes me sad. So, yes.
Jumping back to the 11th of March, this is where we announce that 2 passengers using stolen passports were Iranian men, likely migrants trying to emigrate to Germany. That then immediately throws your terrorism angle into this.
Yeah.
12th of March, Malaysian officials announced an unidentified aircraft was located at the extent of their radar's range flying over the
Anunnaki field?
The Andaman Sea.
The Adamant.
Adamant Sea, yeah. Malaysians love Adamant. Named a sea after him. Little known fact.
Prince Charming.
He sings at the gold mines. Boosts the workers' morale.
Yeah. Well, he's probably got fuck all else going on. Yeah, so, but unidentified object.
Right.
There brings our alien angle into this.
Aliens did it.
That's my theory. It's my strongest contender.
By God, I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. 13th of March, a Wall Street Journal publishes an article saying the plane flew for hours, citing US investigators. Messages about engine performance were transmitted. This is based on an analysis of signals sent by the 777 SATCOM link. Malaysia then denied that report.
Right.
Jim Carney, the White House spokesman, says later that an additional surge in the Indian Ocean may be opened. So basically they're saying that was true because we've got this information now that stuff was transmitted. The Malaysians deny it, but we're going to open up an Indian Ocean search.
Led by the Australians, was it?
Led by the Australians, apparently, because that is their area of search in the event of maritime disaster.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, every country in that area has, I assume maybe every country has a designated area off their coastline somewhere to search in, because, as we say, 70% of the Earth surface is water. It's a lot of damn ocean.
Yeah. Bloody hell, mate. It's like looking for a bloody fart in a jacuzzi. I can't see the bloody plane anywhere.
Well, you know, the Australians you'd think were fairly professional. I mean...
Well, no, I imagine them all to be drinking beer while they're searching.
Surfing behind their warships, stuff like that. Yeah, we're going over the fine-tooth comb, mate, and then they're all water skiing behind warships in a searchlight.
Someone's flipping burgers in a bar.
Yeah. Some bloke's like, hanging off a helicopter rope ladder passing them beer.
Your bloody palms need to chill out a bit, mate. You don't know how to do a bloody search.
Who says we can't have fun, eh?
Yeah.
I wasn't even accent, I just couldn't do the accent with
bloody
that.
search and have a good time at the same time. Sorry, I'm full of shit accents today.
Bless our Australian...
At least I haven't tried a fucking Malaysian one yet.
Bless our Australian cousins.
Yeah, well, they hate us, don't they?
Oh, these are all convicts.
Most of them. We're better at all the bloody sports than you.
That's because you play cricket that no one likes. Only posh people play cricket in Britain.
You're better at sports than us. We live on an island full of stuff that can fucking kill you. We live on an island full of tea and greatness and politeness and... sausage rolls!
No, we don't. Sausage rolls and references to Jesus we do like.
Yeah, I've had a few Jesuses this week. Since that advert, to explain to the listeners at home, I think we talked about this
last week. We did do this last time.
Yeah, so Greg's, the famous bakers, replaced baby Jesus with a sausage roll.
Famous bakers. Convenient, hot, mildly hot food purveyors, Greg's.
Continually hot / freezing cold. Molten hot. Molten hot or freezing cold.
Averaging mildly warm fast food purveyors. Pastry goods purveyors, Greg.
It's always one of the extremes. You never get the one that's perfect.
But since
molten hot, it burns your mouth. Or it's freezing cold.
Dead, cold as a witch's tit. But since they did that since they offended the Christians, basically, I have had way more sausage rolls than I normally would have, because I see it as
Christians eat Jesus.
Well, somebody said this on my Facebook post. Yeah, like his bread. So
which I've always thought is a weird way to sort of...
I'm going to take my God in my mouth. I don't know why I said that in a German
accent. You're eating his flesh and you're drinking his blood. Well, that's cannibalism.
Yeah, and that's not very Christian.
That's zombie-like.
It's not... Yeah.
It's just not on.
I'd go for the wine. Actually, I don't even drink wine. When I'm about 50, I'll go for the wine.
And how stupid are they? How do they think it... I mean, they believe in magic.
It is, it's magic.
They believe in magic, don't they?
Yeah. But you go to a Catholic church, mate, you do a card trick and get thrown out, tell me.
And get your dick out, you'll get thrown out as well.
Oh, the priest does that anyway.
My mate told me once he took a lot of acid.
I thought you were going to do my mate told me once he was abused by a priest then. No. Fucking hell, Mike.
Ben, tell us now, we're all friends.
Show us on the cat where he touched you.
I've never been... I've been to a Catholic church once and I was in my 20s, I don't remember it.
So what happened to you?
Acid and decided to go into a black gospel church.
Oh, that was amazing.
He's a white man.
Oh well, it's church.
Yeah, he said it was the most bizarre but most amazing experience combined.
I bet it was so uplifting.
Yeah.
I don't think they've argued with him being in there. I think they've welcomed him in and maybe got to sing.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't remember as much of it, but...
No.
I bet they're a bit confused, like, why is he licking the carpet?
Yeah. He's chewing his mouth a lot.
They did that bit when he was like... just putting their hands on him and taking the devil out.
Maybe they took the acid out of him. And he just really enjoyed the experience.
It was a bad trip till he went in there. The power of gospel saved his trip. Oh, amazing.
Oh, not for the first time in my life, that would have. No, it hasn't.
It's weird, I can't stand Jesus, but I quite like a bit of gospel.
I admire their enthusiasm.
Johnny Cash sings a lot of gospel.
He
So
did,
does
but
Elvis.
I think it was
Ben
Johnny Cash.
Harper.
I don't know him.
I know Ben Harper, mate.
Who is he? Would I?
Yeah, he's blues, reggae,
Oh,
he's
good
everything.
stuff. Oh, Ben, do you hear that?
Yeah, I know.
Right, so where are we?
I just feel like I'm getting reggae baited all the time. That's what I feel. I feel like I'm being persecuted.
Yes, for your beliefs.
That makes me a martyr. Actually, no, I could be a saint at the end of this podcast, you know.
Saint Reggae.
No, just Saint Ben.
Well, let's see if we can get
Right,
through this without doing any Malaysian accents.
let's do that. On the same day, the 13th of March, China criticises Malaysia's handling of search coordination and information flow, which we have alluded to. So China were coming out and saying, "You're shit.
Yeah.
Hand
Sort
it over to
out.
someone else.
Yeah.
You slags."
You fucking slaves, you're out of your league.
So we go the 14th of March. The Immersat reveals it received communications for several hours now after his disappearance. And then the next following day, the Malaysian PM confirms that. That's a Malaysian Prime Minister. And the search in the South China Sea ends, and they now move the corridors based on the Immersat data. Northern Thailand to Kazakhstan and Indonesia to the southern Indian Ocean. Also, for the first time, the pilots' homes were visited by investigators.
I was going to ask you about, because I got
What
a bit
they
of
found,
stuff.
what they found was interesting.
Remember, that's the 15th.
Yeah, this is how many days later? So this
It
is,
crashed on the 8th.
Jesus.
A week later.
So basically, a week later, they go and visit the pilots' homes.
This is also one of my because I haven't. I don't have a solid. I have about 2 or 3 theories that I'm in between.
Right. Apart from the aliens being the number one.
Yeah, aliens number one, and one of them is to do with the pilots, but I don't think this pilot. I've watched videos of him doing he did YouTube videos of like how to do DIY and stuff. Like he was a YouTuber. He seemed like a happy dude.
And he built his own simulator, didn't he?
That's important as
That's
well.
Impressive.
I heard something very interesting about his simulator.
Go on, Gaz. You know
2 things. One, that the data had been wiped, hadn't it?
Yeah.
And the second thing is, he'd been practicing landing in the middle of the ocean.
In the middle of the ocean.
On his
the
simulator.
Indian Ocean. It's almost
specifically,
to where they think the plane ended.
Now,
Well, if
that's true,
do you want them in a search that area?
Tell me.
If that's true,
They were going on the fact that it wasn't a man-made ditching.
Yeah.
It was a robot one.
Yeah.
So that's why they went closer to Australia. But as the evidence seems to suggest that it wasn't a robot, it was actually because of something called a flap-on.
That's exactly.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
So should we say that because that's one of the evidences to suggest it was a manual ditch into the ocean. So at his home then they find this simulator. So I imagine that building, because I've got a friend that's into flight simulators, and the equipment that he has, it looks like holy shit. It's a hell of a geeky thing to be into. He's got a very powerful PC, huge controllers and things. So I imagine to construct one at home, this must have been a fucking. Well, to be a pilot, you've got to be a smart dude, haven't you? But I think he was.
Yeah, but imagine how many simulators he's flown in. You probably know people who could set one up for him. You must know all the techs.
I would imagine now it's a lot more robotised. Is that a word?
Well, I've been watching. I recently watched the whole series of Bruce Dickinson did a documentary series about aviation.
Oh yeah.
And then I binge watched the whole thing, and there is a hell of a lot of automation in modern flying. Those planes are intelligent as fuck, and there is still room for pilot error.
There is.
For human error, there definitely is. But there's so much automation in them. I mean, autopilot. I mean, it literally is.
Everything's virtually autopilot
doing
on takeoff and
everything.
landing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
unless you manually override it.
and course changes. Now I need to make sure I get this right because I'm nowhere near to knowing anything really about how planes work. But a massive course change needs pilot input.
Yeah.
Like the the autopilot is never just going to go, oh, we should do a 180 and start going this way. It might adjust your height and your speed.
It's a sat-nav, isn't it?
Yeah.
Effectively, the autopilot. It's a sat-nav.
Yeah.
And I guess that it's monitoring, it's your height, your speed, So because this plane literally, for anyone listening, if you haven't Googled and looked at the map, it literally took off and turned left 90 degrees. It did like a handbrake turn in the sky and started going back on itself, and then did a turn, they think, didn't it? Another right hand turn to go either up or possibly south. So somebody turned this fucking plane round for some reason.
Allegedly.
Well, we know factually we know the plane turned round.
Somebody turned it around.
Yeah, but this is what I mean.
Or it was aliens.
But factually we know it turned round, and factually we know that requires manual input. So either co-pilot or the pilot decided to turn that plane round. The first initial. What happens
then?
then?
Can you imagine the annoying sat-nav voice?
Oh.
You have made an Please turn around. Please turn around. Turn around at your soonest convenience. Turn around as soon as possible. Take the next left. Turn around. Go. Oh, just keep on going. Plotting new route. You need to turn around. Oh, gotta go forever. Recalculating. You will reach your current destination in. Plotting. Oh, it's a fucking nightmare.
So what did the Malaysian government have to say then after they've been to this pilot's house? Because I find this interesting. The Malaysian government seem very, very adamant and very desperate almost to completely rule out pilot, this being pilots doing this on purpose.
There is footage of them going through metal detectors at the airport.
Yeah, seen that. But I mean, it's only a little brief clip and it's hard to tell from that, is it? I mean, what does someone who's about to kill themselves look like? I mean,
that's
but
it.
My point is that the Malaysian government won't even entertain this. I think it's a cultural kind of thing of them not wanting to admit that was what happened. Because look, didn't that guy for Air France, he committed suicide on the plane, didn't he?
He did. He crashed into a mountain. Yeah.
Well, they just came out and said that. They didn't. They didn't dress it up in any. They told the truth. Yeah, this fucking pilot lost his mind.
You got to look at is the Malaysian airline state owned? And it's like a bit of a flagship kind of thing for them. Get tourism in, fly Malaysian Airlines. They throw a lot of money advertising it. But
once again, it's down to money. Once again, it's down to
and the French
money.
one was that a privatised firm. The French government obviously investigate because French nationals were involved.
Yeah.
And they say, oh yeah, it was part of suicide. They can say that because that airline wasn't state owned.
Yeah.
And the Malaysian one probably is. It's probably a bit of a flagship sort of thing for the country, if anything.
I think it's a shame thing as well.
And a shame. Yeah. Maybe they want to save the pilot's family that shame. Maybe there's a cultural
lot of shame in that sort of.
That's what I mean.
East,
yeah.
Like a different culture.
Yeah. And I also do think, it definitely, like you just said, it comes down to money, doesn't it? If you... Because I'll be honest with you, this shows how geography's not my strong point.
No, I found this quite difficult.
Yeah, I never claimed to be the most knowledgeable man alive. I don't really know anything at all about Malaysia, and I presumed it was a very sort of third worldy type country, and was even surprised that they had. I'm just being honest that they had these airliners and this. I didn't know.
Most countries will have some kind of state-owned airline. That's the thing. But, even some African countries have got. You consider quite poor have got them.
I mean,
can you imagine?
You look at Japan. I mean, it's the most technological country in the world, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, definitely.
And Malaysia's not far from Japan. So.
That's true.
I mean, well, the thing is, it's a Boeing 777. It's been built in America by Boeing, who, in all fairness, who know exactly what they're doing when it comes to building aircraft.
747, did you say?
777.
Yeah, that's interesting as well, isn't it? The number 7 is lucky in that sort of part of the world.
Did you know?
There was number 9 in China.
8, I thought.
8? Oh, 8. Sorry, it is 8. Yeah.
This factoid came up on the last podcast, but
I can tell you something.
This plane, this actual, not the model, this actual plane that's missing was the 404th
this is what I was going to say,
plane to come off the production line at Boeing. On computer, isn't error code 404 when something's not found?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it
is.
I think it was a satanic sort of ritual.
Oh.
Ritual killing.
Fuck.
Like 9/11, I think.
Add certain Coley-esque rituals to 9/11. We may have to touch on that at some point if we can find a way to do 9/11 tastefully.
I follow this ridiculously insane woman on Facebook. I follow her, ironically, I think they call them truthers.
Yeah.
Now, these are 10 steps past a conspiracy theorist. They're not what you and I are, and Mike. She is insane. She believes that people are clones, like famous people are clones.
Wow.
That we're being gassed, poisoned constantly, and she's a moron. She calls herself, when she refers to herself like she spells it E-Y-E, like your eyeball.
Right.
Because she is enlightened.
Okay.
She is woke, so she puts I every time instead
That'd
of...
just annoy you when I was reading the
It makes me want to punch my phone. I keep writing comments and deleting them before I post them, because I don't want to engage her, but she annoys me, because, see,
they make it so that the stuff we're saying is illegitimate because we're branded in with them.
And she's...
Some of what she might be saying is true. I mean, there's evidence of the British Army. They've used biological agents on British people.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me. I know the Americans definitely have.
Yeah.
But it makes me laugh that she's constantly attacking the media and telling us all we need to wake up and stop buying into the story, we're all morons, sheeple. But then she just shares stories that she takes as, she's like, boom, there you go, evidence. And she calls herself a researcher. Her research involves sitting at home, smoking marijuana and Googling, right?
That's all we do.
That's all we do.
But we don't claim to have the fucking answers. She
don't
thinks
use Google.
Research is... I imagine is out there talking to people, investigating, like, Columbo.
Leaving your home.
Yes, but she just really, and it's exactly what you just said, Mike. It's that we're lumped in with that, and we're doing this because it's fun, it's interesting. But and I often want to say to her, "Are you a happy person? Because you don't seem it. You know what I mean? You spend all day you think that celebrities are clones." So Miley Cyrus has been cloned, and it's an evil clone out there who's degrading children by sexualising.
Where's the real Miley Cyrus?
Yeah, and I'm like, explain clone technology to me. Yeah. I want the detail. You can't just say that. And she does. She just puts these things out there. I think you should. I'll link the page to you. You should follow her. It's fucking infuriating and wonderful all at the same time.
I'm just get kicked off it.
You won't be able to resist, and you will comment. Yeah.
It goes back to what we were talking about last time in The Matrix. Perception is reality.
That's true, yeah. In her reality, clones are a very viable thing.
Apparently so.
So yeah, sorry, that was another massive tangent, dear listener. We were talking about missing Malaysian Airlines flight.
We're approaching the end of the timeline.
Okay.
Or certainly the main chunk of it, because there was a lot of fruitless searching for a good year. So on the 17th of March, Australia takes over the Indian Ocean search because it's their area. It's 600,000 kilometres squared, or if you prefer, 230,000 miles squared.
Oh, bloody hell.
So that's how big the Indian Ocean is, and it's not even the world's biggest ocean.
Yeah, and I know when you stood next to a plane on the runway, it seems like a huge object, doesn't it?
It does.
But everything's relative.
Gotcha.
You drop that in the middle of the ocean, it's a fucking needle.
Yeah. And then the 20th of March, and the Australian PM Tony Abbott announces satellite imagery shows two large objects floating 600 miles southwest of Perth. And that's why the search moved down that area for a long time.
But they found them to be it was just a pair of my ex-girlfriend's knickers. Ooh. Sorry.
Visible from space, eh? But yeah, so the move, the search.
So now they're thinking it's crashed into the sea.
It's crashed into the sea.
Right.
And that far down. Sadly, that didn't come to any fruition.
No, because if it crashes in the sea, it's going to explode, and the debris is going to go everywhere.
And be easy to spot.
Because yes, there was another French. It was French as well that went into the ocean, and there was literally millions. I'm not exaggerating. The debris was in millions of pieces that they recovered. But this is why remember, as we said earlier, he'd been practicing. That's when that French one that hit the water, I watched the accident investigation thing of that one. What had happened was the pilot left the co-pilot in charge. Co-pilot.
Was he your YTS co-pilot?
Oh, Jesus, more or less. Basically,
That's a youth training scheme.
In a plane, for the uplift to work, basically, if your nose goes too far in the air, you lose lift and you stall. That's how you stall an aeroplane, and then it just drops from the sky. He didn't know he was stalling, and he kept pulling up, and apparently that's absolutely not what you do. And by the time the pilot gets back to the cockpit, they've got no idea that they'd just been dropping from the sky, so that just slammed into the water, and it wasn't a controlled. No one was trying to land on the water. It dropped like a stone, and like you say, millions of pieces of debris.
You'd know nothing about that, would you?
Oh yeah, they found bodies on the seabed, and the injuries the bodies had were like massive sort of spinal fractures. Basically, injuries consistent with being in a seated position and smashing into something hard. So yeah, I think they would have died.
Break all the bones in their body. Like.
Yeah. So my point is that this leads people to maybe think that this plane hit the water in a controlled way, and then possibly maybe the wings would have come off, but if the fuselage stayed intact, it would have been on top of the water and very quickly sank.
Yeah.
After that, so that may be one possible reason why they're not finding millions of pieces of fucking debris.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense in all fairness, because if there was that much debris, they found it. On the 24th of March, same year, 2014, the Malaysian Prime Minister again, because he announces that Flight 370 is presumed crashed in the Indian Ocean with no survivors. So that's 24th of March. They're basically writing it off and saying we ain't gonna find this.
Those poor family members. I mean, I know. Knowing what happened, I suppose, is closure and helps you to just grieve and get on with it. 'Cause I'd imagine that some of them were trying to hold on to hope.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But at the same time, you do have to call it at some point.
Yeah, that is true. But I think they would. The Malaysian government have pissed me off in this story. They're the bad guy in this story. Well, I don't know. One of the pilots could actually be the bad guy in the story, but yeah, they dealt with this really fucking badly, and it's all for their own trying to protect their own interests.
Of course.
Yeah, and especially as we said, if it's their flagship kind of thing for the country, then you don't want no bad press around that, do you? Because that's a major contributor to your income. And
I can imagine any airline has any kind of accident or disaster on any size or scale. I'm sure for a while business must take a massive,
of course,
beating.
You'd argue that airlines haven't recovered from 9/11.
Yeah,
fairness.
I mean, and it just goes to show one of the great things is that air disasters are so rare.
Yeah.
You know, it's like everyone says, it is literally the safest form of travel statistically. It's just that if it goes wrong, you are fucked. Yeah. And you need to accept that every single time you get on a plane. If this doesn't go anything other than perfect,
we're pretty much all dead, yeah.
I've got a funny story about planes in 9/11.
Right, well, I need to go for a piss. Go on, Mike, tell me this tale, because I want to see how funny this is.
We'll be the judge of that, Mike.
Yeah. Go on, I'm going to hold on to my piss for a couple of minutes longer. Go on.
There's a comedian called Rhys Darby.
Right.
Okay.
He's in Flight of the Conchords.
Right.
And just after 9/11, 6 months, the New Zealand airliner opened up. Yeah, and on the maiden flight, he was booked to do stand-up on an airplane.
Right.
And he had to do stand-up on an aeroplane 6 months after 9/11.
Oh my god.
People were on edge, like some guy standing up telling jokes. Like, what's going on?
It is like the friendliest hijacking you'll ever see. Right, folks, I'm hijacking the plane, but let's open with a joke.
Yeah.
One of my colleagues induced the pilots. Oh, mother-in-laws, eh?
And I bet what I just said earlier, that was his opening line. I've got a funny story about 9/11 and plane.
So is he like, any Muslims on board? Anybody? No?
Sky Marshals, you know where they're sat now? A couple of hands go up. You know where they're sat?
He said it was the worst gig of his life.
I can imagine it was, yes.
Oh man, that can't be easy at any time doing stand-up on a plane, like, you know, after 9/11, like, we're all terrified, isn't it? Oh man, good stuff.
Can I call that piss break now?
Piss break.
Oh, thank you. Alright, so back from the toilet break for me. The other two are pretty quiet, actually.
I should have gone then, but I might have to have another one later. But...
You're on the Senorita Beater.
Yeah, Senorita Beater.
Spanish Stella.
I like it. I'm not wearing a vest though. So.
You're on the Carlin, where's me darling?
I've got some Galahad as well.
Oh yes.
And I've got a German one from Aldi. Rheinbacher Pills.
Oh, awesome.
It's not quite nice actually. Really like it. Shout out to Aldi.
Do you know what? the date last night almost started badly because she asked me. She was like, I was getting the drinks in while she popped to the loo, and I was in a real ale pub, you know, a proper bloody pub, and she asked me. And I felt embarrassed anyway because I was probably the one man in there drinking lager.
Oh, that's, yeah, you get the look, don't you? You get the look.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't. It was a small brewery lager. It wasn't a. They don't have any, you know, mainstream. It was something called Green Monkey. And anyway, my lady says, "Oh, I'll have a lager and black, please." She goes to the toilet, and I thought, I am not asking for a lager and black in a real ale pub. I'm just not going to do it. So I was just like 2 pints of Green Monkey. She come back and she's like, why doesn't it have blackcurrant in it? And I was like, if you want blackcurrant in your lager in this pub, you're going to go and ask the beer nerd. And you're going to go and get the shitty look, because I'm not doing it. I'm being judged for ordering lager anyway.
Share the blame.
You know what I mean?
I like how you're still up there, Gaz.
Yeah, well,
you made a stance, you're like, alright, this is the line and it ain't been crossed.
Yeah, put me cards on the table.
That's it.
But you what, man?
And I'm not holding your handbag either.
I really wanted a proper ale, but I just get frozen by the choice. I'm just like, I don't want to pick, because you know they look at you. You pick one that they don't approve of, and you get the look, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't sold many of these. Anyway, that's another silly bloody tangent. Let's talk about this plane. Where's it gone?
We'll end up on the 5th of August 2016, a wing piece known as what was it again, a flaperon?
Yep.
It's part of the bit that steers the wing, isn't it?
It extends and comes out on landing, does it not?
And take off, I believe.
Yes.
Washes up on a beach in Reunion, a French island in the Indian Ocean. It is confirmed to be from Malaysian Airlines Flight 370.
I remember I lost to Reunion as a Sweden manager and football manager.
How did you lose to Reunion? Actually, I still have the photo of the scoreline from when you lost 1-0 to Guadeloupe.
Oh, that was it. Sorry, it's Guadeloupe, not Reunion.
I still have that on my phone, saved. You lost 1-0.
And it was some dodgy French colony.
Yeah.
We just lost in the final to France, hadn't we?
That's right.
In the Euros. And 1-0 in the 89th minute. We were gutted.
For the listeners, this is not real football. This is, you haven't gone into a time warp. This was in Mike and Ben's football timeline.
Yeah, football manager. So
this flapper on then, Ben?
Flapper on, it was found on the beach. It's confirmed to be from the plane.
Now, I watched a little news story online about this flapper on. Now, this is to help with deceleration and control, like we said, when landing and taking off.
Yeah.
And evidence, I was watching from what I watched, the quote-unquote expert was suggesting that
when you say expert, was it a homemade video of his mother?
No, it wasn't. This man was actually on site looking at the
at
the debris. That this suggested to him that the plane went down in a controlled manner. Because why else would that be out? If it just dropped from the sky when it ran out of fuel or something, then it wouldn't be preparing to land.
No, it has to be manually.
Yeah.
Someone has to activate.
Right. Would it not add drag though? I know if you're
That's what
falling
it's
from
supposed to do.
yeah, but if you're falling from the sky, then aren't you gonna activate everything that gives you any kind of drag?
Yeah, but the point is the autopilot wouldn't have done it. I don't think. It's like you were saying, somebody had to, and the guy was saying that it looks like it had been deployed. Evidence not to suggest that it was still inside the wing and then ripped out. It looked like it was out and being used because the plane was coming down in a controlled fashion.
Yeah.
So and this is the only thing anyone has found so far, isn't it?
I think there's been two.
Oh, was there two?
Was there not another one found?
There was something that wasn't confirmed.
Oh, okay.
A piece of wing.
To date, it hasn't been confirmed.
Something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And there was also weirdly a bottle of Indonesian food sauce.
Oh, was there?
Found, and something like condiments almost. Then floats into a little bit of debris, but they can't tie it down to it.
We know it's in the fucking water, don't we? I mean, Christ.
I mean, they were looking in the wrong place. Because they were looking for a plane that would have gone down if it was controlled by an autopilot.
Yeah.
So they were looking on the Australian side, and they should have been looking on the other side.
Perth, they were looking at the Perth side. So
whatever, not the other side of Australia, the other side of the...
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
Wherever that might be, Africa, yes. Towards Madagascar and that.
So what happened? Theories are...
Theories.
It was shot down by accident.
Okay.
Live fire exercise between the US and Thailand armed forces underway at the time. The Yanks do have previous in, sorry, the Americans do have previous in that. But then on their flight, I can't remember what the flight was called. It was a major airline disaster. It blew up outside New York. Had to take off in New York, and there was the main theory is that it was shot down by accident by a US Navy vessel, fired a missile at it by accident.
That doesn't explain why it was Mars, of course.
No, but that's one of the things
that's very true. And wouldn't there be debris again? Wouldn't there be?
But that could all be an elaborate cover-up, and they could just move in, clear the debris.
Well,
There's plenty of ships on station to do it.
I also saw an expert talking about. Remember the Lockerbie air disaster, which for the listener is a man had a bomb. He put a bomb in his suitcase, I believe.
Yes, that's right.
And a big plane blew up over a Scottish village called. But I saw a guy talking about how on the radar, you could see the debris falling from the sky on the radar. But the plane was off radar, wasn't it, when it went down? I don't think it was shot down.
No, that's just one of the theories. Then we go to terrorist hijacking. There's no real proof for that, although apparently Alternative Media TV, which is a YouTube channel, and one of the most popular viewed documentary on this, claims terrorists or a rogue state hijacked the plane to turn it into a flying nuclear bomb. There's no proof of it. The only shred of sort of any kind of thing comes from the 2 Iranian guys on board who were using stolen passports. But that is very, that's very slim evidence. Slim to none, and slim just left turn evidence for that. Jim Stone, an independent journalist, thinks there was a plane switch, and it claims that it was MH370, and not Flight 17 that was shot down over the Ukraine, and his thing is that people had to be got rid of, allegedly, and that ties us into those guys on board who were part of the NSA, was it? There's not a lot on it.
No, there were 20 members of staff from a company, and I haven't bloody written it down, but a quick Google search, you can find it, dear listener. There were 20 employees of a microchip technology company who their microchips were used in missile guidance and defense systems. So they were a tech company involved in defense and military. So 20 of them, you'd imagine that's a big chunk of your company to lose. Now, would you put it past a government to kill an entire plane of people, 200 people, just to get to 20?
No.
I wouldn't put it past the government, because they'll drop a bomb on a village because there's one guy there that they want to kill. So is it beyond the realms of possibility that a pilot was paid off or something along those lines? Maybe there was some tampering because somebody in some government somewhere had some dealings with this tech firm, or I don't know. I'm just saying it's
maybe
weird
they were
to
dodgy dealing with the Taiwanese. Maybe they're trying to sell secrets. But then demonstrations.
That's true. But then by that logic of what I've just said, I've just realised there were also 10 of the most prominent Chinese calligraphers.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Right. They were there was a few generations of these artists. So by my logic of what I've just said, somebody wanting to kill those 20 employees, did somebody want to wipe out Chinese traditional writing?
Maybe the rival team did.
Hey, it's
Maybe the Chinese kept winning it. The rival team arranges for An accident.
Stranger things have happened.
The way Malaysia came out about it afterwards.
Yeah, maybe the Malaysian
suspicion.
Yes.
Maybe the Malaysia team were second that year.
Maybe the Malaysian government.
Controversial decision. Who knows?
Maybe the Malaysian government were given an offer they couldn't refuse as to this plane needs to disappear.
Allegedly.
But I'll throw one out if we
go on.
take it in turns.
Throw one in.
I'll throw one out to you boys. Did you know that? And this is I'm using an article from a website called theweek.co.uk.
Oh, I tried to view this one and it kept telling me I needed to say my pop-up blocker. I told it to fuck off.
Well, Putin knows.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah.
Oh, that's fine then.
Putin knows.
What if you ask Steven Seagal, his mate?
With his fucking cartoon hair.
You need to draw that one next.
Yeah. Steven Seagal kicking a plane out of the sky.
With cartoon hair. The plane should also have cartoon hair. No, that'd be disrespectful.
So,
scratch that.
Vladimir Putin, Sir Vladimir.
Sexiest world leader by far.
Lord Vladimir. Mighty Vladimir. Sorry. He has known all along where missing Malaysia Airlines jet is, according to a volunteer investigator. Speaking to the Daily Star.
Hey, credible British tabloid.
Andre Milner said Flight MH370 made a soft ditch landing into the Bay of Bengal in the Indian Ocean, and that the Russian president was aware of this from the start. In quotes, satellites that were placed by the Russians saw the wreckage, he said. Putin would have been given that information. Putin kept quiet because he only discovered the fate of the jet thanks to a secret spy satellite, adds Milne, who previously appealed for £1.3 million funding to scour the area for the missing jet. It doesn't say whether he was successful in that appeal. He said, the reason President Putin did not raise his hand and march in and say we found it is because technically he would have to have been committing espionage. Insisting that witnesses' statements corroborated his theory, Milne added that if a search party ventured to the Bay of Bengal, they would find, quote, wreckage with no flapper on the sea floor.
Well, I can understand the point that if, say, the Russians did know and they had something dodgy in the area they weren't supposed to have, they just wouldn't own up to it. I can understand that from a state point of view. Have they got much reason to be looking at the Bay of Bengal? I don't know. Maybe. No, I'm not going for it. And if he did know, maybe Trump knows. Maybe Theresa May knows. Maybe the Malaysian Prime Minister knows. Maybe the Chinese president knows. Maybe they all know.
And he's saying
maybe it was the fucking aliens.
He's saying witnesses corroborate his theory. So what? Witnesses saw the plane landing. Forgive me. Is anyone watching the plane and going like, "What's the reg on that?"
Yeah.
MH370. Oh, remember
What's the transponder signal for that plane?
Yeah. Oh, remember that in case any reporters turn up and anything weird's going. Oh, yeah. Cock off, mate.
And did he turn up at the beach and go, "You see that plane land?"
Yeah,
plane? Yeah, maybe I'll remember for $20. Well, here you go.
And let's be honest, he's not being this chap Andrew Milne. No disrespect to your chap. But you're not being interviewed by Aviation Times or, Scientific Weekly. It's the fucking Daily Star, which is the second least credible fucking newspaper in this country.
You mean the Sunday Sport?
Slowly, second behind the Sunday Sport. And it's funny you should mention that, Ben.
Yeah.
Because, well, the Daily Sport and its sister paper, the Sunday Sport, to our foreign listeners, is a
bit of an institution.
It's an institution in England. It's
a shit newspaper.
I wouldn't say that it's the most credible newspaper in the world. It basically consists of topless women every other page, and completely fucking fabricated news stories on every other page, allegedly.
It's like, I think we can pretty go ahead and draw that allegedly in all fairness. You can fucking sue me, Daily Star. I don't give a shit.
The Daily Sports.
Think of the Weekly World News.
Yes.
But with more tits.
Yes.
And less Bat Boy.
Yes, the Daily...
Go for that. And if you don't follow the Weekly World News on Facebook, please do that. That's fun. And follow us on Facebook. Cutting the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. And on Twitter, Apocalypse Bull. And if you like the page and we get 100 likes, we'll send you a t-shirt if you're drawing out the app. You can't see fairer than that.
No.
And I went into 80s quiz show mode.
You can't get further than that.
And
In one.
a microwave oven.
In two.
DIY set.
In three.
I'm not going to go through all. But a special prize is a caravan, alright?
Blankety blank, checkbook and pen. So,
Consult
the
UK
Daily,
Gold.
the Daily Sport.
The Daily Sport.
They believe missing Malaysian
Malaysian
Airlines flight MH370 is on the moon.
It's on the moon. It was teleported to the moon for unknown alien reasons.
Unknown alien reasons. And to give you, dear listener, an idea of the type of newspaper we're dealing with here, they photoshopped a picture of the plane on the moon just to help readers. Here's some choice headlines from this newspaper's illustrious history. Banned from Chinese buffet for shitting in the seaweed.
And a mouthful of beer then, you bastard.
This is a good one. Oh, God. Booted out of ISIS for wearing Aldi trainers.
Oh man, does that mean that ISIS are like down on their fashion?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to like this one, Mike.
Go on.
Jeremy Corbyn sucks off Boris Johnson at boozy party. Oh, God. Sex with Greg's pasty boiled my bell end.
That's a true story. It is genuinely happened to some bloke.
Some bloke says, Ben, how's your cock, Ben?
Not burnt.
You were lucky you got cold pasty.
Yeah, I came in it and I gave it to a homeless bird.
Oh, God. Oh, God, another...
Disgusting.
Sex with Mr. Frosty mangled my bell end. Remember the Mr. Frosty
Shit!
ice shaker
It was a
machine?
fucking ice grinder!
Would put your dick in there.
It literally was a spinning fan with blades that you hand cranked. Why would you try and fuck it?
And as soon as he's done that, the first thing he does is bring his Daily Sport. Look what I've just done.
A couple more.
Oh man. Yeah.
Prince Harry bummed me behind Lidl.
You're laughing, Mike, but I can see the tears.
Dirty rotter.
Oh, God, here we go. Gordon Ramsay's sex dwarf eaten by badger.
Oh, there's another one. Go on,
one more.
One more.
No, that's just the same one, but they've rewritten it. Find the bastard who shat down my chimney. There's a photo of somebody shitting down it. It's real. It's not fake news. So is MH370 on the moon.
Oh man.
Fuck me, that's fun. I think we bring that feature back for a next episode.
Yeah, future episode, Daily Star headlines.
And if you find any good ones, send them to the Facebook page.
Yeah. Put through the ball in the post-truth apocalypse.
Oh, God. Oh.
You can also win a Top Gun game, an LCD Top Gun game.
And a drawing.
Did they find the chimney shitter?
No, I didn't read the article.
I guarantee you that was in Burnley.
Oh, man.
Oh.
That was fantastic.
Fuck you, Burnley.
What's Burnley done to you? Is this football related?
Yeah.
I fucking knew it would be.
He's a Blackburn Rovers fan, isn't he?
There we go. Right, so, have you got another possible reason over there, Ben?
Aliens.
How did aliens do it?
Just did it.
They just did it. Just did it.
Just did it.
No, it's just them.
Also, the pilot. We'll go into the pilot.
Yes.
All right, that seems like a good place. Actually, the silly ones we'll probably go to. Oh, actually, no. North Korea took it.
I've heard this one as well.
It was either shot down or hijacked by North Korea.
Okay.
Flying nuclear bomb theory comes back into it.
No evidence.
No evidence, of course.
Okay.
So these pilots then, because
Pilots.
I have two slight...
Apparently, the
theories.
pilot wanted to create the world's greatest mystery.
Now, I think as well, though, that he could have also been trying to... Because the things on his flight simulator, he was trying to land on the ocean. I think there's a possibility that he was trying to make himself a hero.
Ah, so like a some kind of. I mean, pilots must be a fairly egotistical bunch.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe
maybe he
had
wanted
Sully
to
come out at this
like
point?
Sully. You mentioned Sully.
Had Sully
before
come out at this point?
It must have done, yeah. Well, the actual event of him landing on the Hudson River, that was well before this went missing. So did he want to like one up that in a?
It's a possibility. Maybe he knew Sully, maybe he didn't like him.
You know, did he want to be a hero? Because I'm confused. Because evidence to me, I think he tried to land it. It didn't just ditch and it didn't drop out the sky and smash to pieces.
No.
I think it was a controlled landing on the water.
Which takes a lot of skill to land a plane that size.
But
because you wouldn't. And also that kind of makes the Bay of Bengal make a bit of sense because it's a bay, it's an enclosed area, its ships would show there. You wouldn't land it in the open ocean. The open ocean's rough.
Because if
you'd land it somewhere calm, wouldn't you?
But if you wanted to kill everyone on board, wouldn't you just ditch it down?
Oh fuck yeah, straight down, nose down.
Just boom, just ditch it straight down. Why? Now I'm basing this on the fact that two things, three things.
Can he alter the oxygen for the passengers in the cabin? Can he turn the oxygen off so they all suffocate? Ooh. He's flying for 7 hours. Suicide pilled his mate. Yeah, he's flying 7 hours. I'm just going to wait till I run out of gas. I'm just going to ditch into the ocean. I'm just going to let it sink.
Yeah, that is very possible. Well, there's a theory called the zombie plane that. Basically some sort of fire or something on board, some sort of gas or oxygen mistake, something went wrong whereas everybody on board died. Literally everybody died.
See, I like this theory.
Including both pilots.
Something went wrong with the life support.
Which to me is such a harrowing image to imagine. So this big 747, fully loaded, every seat full, everybody on board is dead. And it is just autopilot. It's the zombie plane just keeps going.
Everybody's dead.
Everybody on board. Yes. Hey, I nearly remember that.
Everybody's dead, Dave.
Everybody's alive.
Well, no, because I think that could explain the turn. Because if the pilot all of a sudden slumps
so
over,
he's
holding the wheel.
Yeah. So
there's
a problem.
He slumps over and the wheel goes with him.
Well, no, hang on.
That could explain a turn. Until he's forced to the floor, the wheel rides itself, the autopilot carries on, it's going in a different direction. Because it's a 90-degree turn.
How about then, he makes it the 2 hours in, there's a fault, a major fault. He turns back to make an emergency landing. But after he makes that turn, so they're now on that trajectory, they've done the 90-degree turn, he loses consciousness as well. Yeah. And that plane just keeps fucking going. And maybe, I don't know enough about this, so let's imagine.
But someone had to have pushed the button to get the flap-ons out. We've established that.
Yes. So
maybe he put them out.
I think it's just a case of a suicidal pilot. He even planned it in his own fucking improvised flight simulator at home. I mean, virtually it was similar. It even had the same angle, didn't it? I mean,
what's he do with the co-pilot? What's he do with the passengers?
Well, this happened. You know the French guy. I was thinking about this because it's a horrible. This is why I had a nightmare the other night because I was thinking of how horrific this situation was. The French guy, I think he'd locked the pilot out of the cockpit. So imagine being the pilot, the other side of that cockpit, frantically trying to get through it, and you can obviously see and feel that the plane is ditching and going. You've got all the passengers there. What's happening? What's going on? And you're come on, banging.
Well, imagine if you go, maybe you'll be flung.
Oh, if it started to go down, but I think it's pilots are involved. I don't know which one because it could have been the co-pilot, but apparently he was planning to be engaged. He just got engaged.
21, wasn't he?
I mean, that doesn't mean you're not suicidal, but I mean, it's not like he was just ditched or, he had stuff to live for.
Or if the co-pilot was sleeping with the pilot's wife, who then killed him horribly and then crashed the plane into the ocean.
We don't know. And if it was
that's not actually a thing. That just me.
And if it was a pilot taking it for a joyride, I don't believe the Malaysian government are going to say. I think they'd rather lie or not say anything at all to save face.
Well, what's interesting is that the flap-on was obviously recovered by the French, and they haven't released it yet.
Oh, they're holding on to it?
They're holding on to it for some reason. Because I watched the Australian 60 Minutes on it.
Yeah.
And the guy who's in charge of the search is like, we found the flap-on, but we're still waiting for it to get released from France.
So it could be more.
That was in 2016. I didn't find anything else updated.
And it was washed up on a French island. French government officials.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Did the French have a stake in this?
It could have alien juice on it.
Maybe.
Or something.
Alien
Did the plane
juice?
go through a worm? Did the plane slip into an alternate dimension?
There's another one. Maybe it's flying around and maybe it's landed in a multiverse.
The flap-on was just a what do you call it? A red herring. They planted it there, so the French took hold of it then, and they've still got it. It isn't really from that flight. The flight went into another dimension.
But how do we know the French didn't just say, "Oh look, we found a flapper-on," or whatever it's called?
404 you said was interesting.
Yeah.
That could be a satanic.
I heard something about Korea wanted the technology that's on the plane, but I was thinking, wouldn't they already have that?
I don't know. They have satellite. I mean, they've got nuclear weapons.
It's a commercially available plane.
That's the thing. If we had enough money, we could buy one.
No, because Western technology wouldn't be sold to North Korea. It just wouldn't. They'd probably an embargo on them buying stuff in like that. I mean, anything with computer chips in, they wouldn't have. I mean, there was a thing years ago with
but how sophisticated?
Something like 200. Genuinely, I'll tell you this tale, and you can judge it on that. There was the I can't remember which company it was, blocked a sale, I think it was the Japanese government, blocked a sale to Iraq of 300 Sony PS3s, right?
What?
Because there was a theory that amongst Western intelligence, or genuine intelligence, that the Iraqis could create a supercomputer using the chips, which they didn't have access to, from the PS3s to create some kind of supercomputer to...
It's not going to stop it though, is it?
What do you mean?
Well, smugglers are going to be able to get...
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
PS3s
But it was just weird that 300 PS3s were all as an order together.
Yeah, it is weird, yeah.
So, I mean, the level of technology on a plane, it's pretty high, isn't it? There's a lot of computer power in there. I mean, I remember reading that the Eurofighter, the RAF, if the computers crashed on that plane, the plane would just fall out of the sky. It's aerodynamically unstable. The computers keep it in the air. It's got to be a similar thing with a massive jet like that. The computers keep that plane stable in the air. The pilots, yes, may guide it, but the computers are working. There's a lot of computing power there. Yeah. And it's more than that took man to the moon. And if you're North Korea, then you're going to be loving that shit, aren't you?
Yeah.
There you go. You're going to be loving that shit. You know what the problem is with Kim Jong-un?
Oh, what's the problem with him then?
If you're a dictator...
Oh, yeah.
Right, dress snappily. And the same goes for his entire family, right? You got Idi Amin strutting around in field marshal fucking outfit. Even Mugabe had a sharp suit. Gaddafi always strutting around in his colonel's gear. Fucking hell. You got El Presidente with his massive gold fucking epaulets. If you're gonna be a dictator, get some fucking bling on, man.
Yeah. Funny looking trousers and a bowl haircut doesn't cut it.
No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. I can't take the man seriously. I know he's got nuclear weapons. I just can't take him seriously.
Would you like to know what the website Illuminati Watcher thinks happened to the plane?
I'd love to.
This is known as the grid of energy theory.
Oh my god, I'm going to hate this, aren't I?
They believe that the Boeing 777 crashed on a vortex energy point on the Earth's secret free energy grid.
Oh shit, I read about this, yeah.
The idea goes that a web of vortex points around the world projects energy that the Illuminati knows how to harness. That, or it has something to do with, quote-unquote, ancient aliens. The ancient astronaut theory claims that aliens of the past used energy vortex points to travel around the globe, or potentially make mapping points, e.g. the pyramids of Giza.
So it's like a Stargate?
Yes! And the Illuminati Watcher explains this hidden energy grid is one way of getting off of traditional energy sources like oil and coal. So obviously the people in control of these big energy industries would want to keep it quiet. For more on these grids of energy, you can check out www.bollockbullshit and bollockshitfuckwank.com and
payusmoney.com.
So yeah, the vortex. So what? It just hit this pure energy and atomized into nothingness.
Yeah, because surely there'd be a shitload of those dotted about, and planes would
hit them all the time,
wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You'd think that.
It'd be a triangle.
No, that's bullshit.
Well, we're not going to bother doing that episode then.
I'd look into it, but a lot of it can be explained. I've read about this in my spare time. I have a book on it actually, and a couple of books, well, many books on conspiracy theories and the Bermuda Triangle, and yeah, a lot of it is quite easily explained. I mean, the major one, I'll get into it now. Fuck it. Yeah, it's all bullshit. Don't worry about it, kids.
I've got one more theory.
Go on then, Mike.
Anyone ever watch Twilight Zone the movie?
No.
Remind me, because there's something to do with the plane, isn't there?
There is the last one. There's 4 segments, isn't there?
Is it the Gremlin?
It is the Gremlin.
Oh,
Is that the
yeah.
one with Captain Kirk? There's something on the wing. There's something on the wing.
And of course, Family Guy parodied it.
Yeah.
Simpsons parodied it with
Yeah.
the Gremlin on the school bus, didn't they?
Yeah. There's a Gremlin inside the bus. It's Hans Mormon driving.
and when Flanders picks up the little Gremlin thing, he's like, oh, it tried to claw my face off. How cute.
That's my theory.
Yeah, Gremlin, something on the wings.
Speaking of gremlins of a different kind, some believe that this is the world's first example of digital cyber hijacking.
Okay.
That somebody remotely just started fucking with this plane.
You know, that's a possibility.
And the reason people don't want to acknowledge that as being the official story is because everyone would be utterly fucking terrified.
Yeah.
The aviation industry would it would be like 9/11 again. It would just grow.
No one would get on a plane.
People would be fucking
No one
terrified.
would get on a plane. That'd be it. It would. Yeah. That's You know what? I was leaning towards the pilot's suicide, but.
And maybe the pilot is trying to fight against,
That's what I mean. That's why there is a controlled landing, because it does run out of fuel.
Yeah.
He manages. I'd imagine you could manually operate the flaps and stuff like that, the hydraulic system.
Yeah,
You'd be able to manually operate.
So let's say the hijackers are still in control, but it's run out of fuel.
Yeah.
So they don't have any control now because it's just gliding down, and he's desperately like, "Well, shit, I've got control back. Like, let's try and make the best of this." Because I think we did touch on it earlier. I was told personally, I saw in a video that a pilot sort of expert was saying that if the sea was calm enough and he landed this plane correctly, he could have hit the water in one piece. The fuselage at least could have stayed fairly intact, but it would have very, very quickly started to fill with water and sink right to the bottom.
I heard that it wouldn't.
Oh, did it? Oh.
Yeah, there was on that 60 Minutes Australia, they did a simulator, and then the simulator and watched crash into the ocean, and the guy says, I assume we'll sink pretty quickly. He said, actually, it might take quite longer than you think, but it would probably eventually sink.
Well, it's definitely going to go down, but hours in the middle of the ocean.
Sort of seconds or minutes.
Yeah, okay.
But alright, I've got a theory on this whole thing. I want to incorporate a couple of theories into this, right? The pilot simulator. I think the pilot either possibly we go back to the wanting to create a mystery or wanting to make his name. So it's either A, he wants to become famous and he knows about this hacking thing and he's confident he can bring that plane down under no power. He makes himself a hero and the hackers prove they can do it. He's in cahoots with them. Or someone somewhere has a lot of dirt on him and this is going to happen. Right? So I think the simulations on his home system, his home simulator, he knew what was going to happen. He planned it all. He'd been told what to do. Maybe he'd been paid off by some rogue nation, North Korea, like their computer hacking. They've paid him a few $1 billion. We're going to take your plane off course. We're confident, when it runs out of fuel, you're going to land it on the sea. You'll be a hero. You get the money. Off you fucking trot into the sunset. Yeah. Right?
Maybe.
It doesn't. It goes wrong. And he does manage to do it. It all goes to plan up to the point where no one finds the fucking plane because it's so off course.
This is the trouble, isn't it?
Without
finding anything, it's all speculation.
Do you think if somebody achieved this hacking though, wouldn't they want to claim it?
Isn't it easier to hold that threat out, right? So if you know you can do it, and you issue a fucking thing to the UN saying, look, that plane was us, and we can do that to any of your planes, pay us this much every month, and it'll be in the whatever tally it would be, and we won't do it. You're holding the entire world hostage.
Because it's a terrifying
and no one has to know as long as that money keeps coming in.
Because that's a genuinely terrifying thought,
yeah, there's
someone
is effectively controlling world commerce.
It's scary enough, the physical hijacker.
Do you think the Americans or the Chinese would allow that? I don't think they'd be able to root them out and find them and neutralise them.
Not if, I mean, what...
They'd send in the A-team.
Yeah, they would.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody physically hijacking a plane is scary enough. If somebody doesn't even need to be on the bastard thing to do it, that to me is utterly terrifying. It's a end of the world scenario, isn't it?
Sounds like a James Bond.
Take control of 100 planes and
just crash
them all instantly.
Oh my God, when 9/11 was that?
I mean, do I have your attention? You know, do I have your attention, governments of the world? Yes. God, that's scary.
All right, you say about that wouldn't they root them and find them? It's online. It's digital. They're that protected, that clued up. I mean, North Korea does love its hackers.
The NSA and that literally listen to everything that's going on in the world.
North Korea has got. Could they do it? Could they be basic? Could they be secretive enough? I mean, they don't even have an internet. It's an intranet. What if the one connection they've got going?
I think if anything, it would be something like China.
Yeah, and then China playing the good guy in a way, coming out and bollocking the Malaysians.
But the plane was mostly full of Chinese nationals.
I think you would have to be a state actor rather than a non-state.
Who's got a problem with China? Everybody, haven't they? But who really has a problem with China?
The USA.
America.
No, but I heard something very interesting the other day that I didn't know about because I don't know anything. That China bailed America out after the that crash, financial crash. So they must be friends.
Secretly they are, certainly.
Do you know what I mean?
But you know as well as me, there's money to be made.
Well,
you'll deal with the enemies as much as you will with
that's
friends.
very true.
What if all this current escalation between America and North Korea is all front, and it's because North Korea actually managed to hijack that plane?
Possibly.
And it's
I think
it's a possibility.
We're going down the rabbit hole a bit there, but
well, because we're going to finish off with some really delightful at the end pilot's last words. So before we do the last words, shall we come to a conclusion on what we all think happened here? Because I don't have a solid theory. I'm leaning towards, me personally, pilots, human involvement.
That's the one for me. I think it was a pilot suicide.
Yeah, it's very...
Either a pilot suicide or he was paid to do it.
And you know this idea of wanting to create the world's greatest mystery? Well, he fucking did. He fucking did. Because I like mysteries, but I do also like answers. I like mysteries to be answered at the end, and there is something troubling about not knowing where the fuck a 777 full of people went to. But
I think it just highlights the fact that it's scary that something like that could just go missing. I mean, the ocean is that big that it could.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Absolutely.
It reminds us that we're
it's
not.
At the bottom of the ocean. I mean,
you're gonna find it.
I mean, I'm leaning towards pilot because I mean, the transponder being switched off, you know, the changes in course,
the flap on
being out, the simulator at home, and they talk about how he was such an experienced pilot and a respected pilot, but that doesn't mean. I mean, there was that thing going around Facebook fairly recently of the singer who killed himself. Basically, people posting pictures of people who've committed suicide like the day before they committed suicide, and they usually
was it the Linkin Park thing?
Yeah, but people have
what is his name?
Chester Bennington. But people have started posting.
The guy my cat's named after.
There you go. People have started posting real world examples of that as well. You know, this is my brother who killed himself. Here's a photo of him 2 days before, looking, for all intents and purposes, like a very happy person. So my point is, somebody's state of mind cannot be. It doesn't matter that he's an experienced.
Gary Speed, footballer.
Oh yeah, Christ.
I remember we watched him on Football Focus the day before.
Yeah.
Just to say to the listener, that's a famous ex-footballer who committed suicide.
Welsh manager, and Wales had been doing really well. They qualified.
No, but they were doing well.
They were doing really well. They looked like they were qualified for the World Cup, first time in a long time.
Yeah.
team was exciting. It was a big good mix of all. He had it all going for him. And
on the morning he was on a TV show, live TV show.
Yeah, Football Focus on Saturday, so midday in the UK.
I think by the evening or the next morning he was dead.
There's Chester for all the listeners.
Yeah. Coming in appropriately.
Yeah. So yeah, his state. We've got no idea what his state of mind could have been, and like you said, Mike, there's that footage of them walking through the metal detector. But I mean, how can you tell? You can't take anything from it. It's just, And if he was acting that weirdly or strangely, I'd like to think someone wouldn't step in.
What I was trying to say is that they didn't have a bomb or a gun on them.
Yeah. Right.
Because they went to the metal detectors. That's what you can't tell by the footage whether they were depressed or not.
No, exactly. It's like interdimensional travel. I'd prefer that one if they're alive in another. If they just landed on an alternate Beijing, in a different. I'd prefer that for them. Sucks for the family members who are never going to see him again, but at least they're not in a watery grave.
Wow.
But
man.
I believe they are in a watery grave, unfortunately. It's a weird one. So what are you leaning towards, Ben?
I really like the hacking idea, and that's fantastic. I love that.
It's scary.
I like that idea. I like the hacking idea. I think maybe the egotism appeals to me. Like, that Sully did that. I'm gonna one up him.
Yeah. I'm gonna land it in the dark on the ocean.
Maybe mental problems and the egotism of a pilot. I'd probably lean more towards a suicide angle, wanting to create this mystery, because he'll be remembered for that, won't he? If he's going to commit suicide, then why go down as this nutter? Why not go down as, you'll never know.
Yeah, well, he's infamous now, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's infamous. Yeah. But the only other theory I would maybe lean to is possibly the zombie plane one, that something killed everyone on board.
Yeah, that's another one of mine. Yeah, I'd go for that. Something went wrong about the oxygen supply was for some reason cut.
Because I should have wrote it down.
Nothing went off.
There is something that can happen on the plane where you can be carbon monoxide. Something can happen with the air where you'll die quite quickly. But a good thing that you told me this, Mike, on the Heaven's Gate episode, that when dying that way, you do tend to feel a bit of euphoria. Yeah. So, maybe they went down like, hey, we got it! The water's coming up real quick! I think we're gonna drown! Oh!
That's why they give you oxygen.
No, it's not. That's so you can breathe, isn't it?
I thought it was because
you take huge. You take such huge panic gulps of oxygen, and too much oxygen to the brain at once will create feelings of euphoria.
I honestly thought it was because the air in the...
Get you effectively. That's one of the reasons, so you can breathe. But because you're panicking, you're and then you get high because you're taking in so much oxygen.
I'd much prefer it if a joint on a rope just dropped down in front of me. If that's the idea, if we need to get high, like just going and a lighter.
Here comes the joint man. We're going down, people.
Are you being paid by Lilt? Are you trying to get us a Lilt advertising deal? Because that's twice you've referenced that old advert from the 90s. We are not affiliated with Lilt.
Did you used to like Lilt?
It's a tropical drink.
Can you still get Lilt?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
I like Lilt. I haven't thought about Lilt in years, Mike.
Mike. Tomorrow. Mike's still available for advertising for the Lilt company. He'll even black up and do his Jamaican accent.
No, I believe it's owned by Coca-Cola, so I wouldn't.
They own all of them. Yeah. That's a very interesting. I don't know what it's called, but if you just Google which companies own which, there's a terrifying diagram. Actually, there's about 5 companies in the world. Basically, there are about 5 fucking companies
with all the subsidiaries and
they own you could trace it. Fuck, scary. But
time episode for the time.
Yes, it certainly is. So I think we've said what we think of
wicked web you weave.
Yes, of MH370.
In other words, and probably the pilot did it.
Yeah, probably.
But feel free to draw your own conclusions and let us know. We're always interested.
Might not have been the funniest subject, but it's.
I think we've had a laugh.
Yeah, we've managed to.
Yeah, we've laughed at 239 souls that perished. No one knows about them.
Shut up, Mike.
That's all for the bunga bunga party now.
Bring in the girls!
Somebody put
Free
the
lilt
reggae
at
on.
the bar.
No, reggae!
Free lilt at the bar.
Before we go, would you like to
Yes.
hear some...
Come on.
I'll read you some...
Terrifying me with some... Because I'm terrified of dying in an aeroplane. I'm fairly nervous.
I'll start with right. I've got some last words from pilots. I'm going to start with July 5th, 1970, Air Canada, and it's so Canadian.
Okay.
Pete, sorry.
It could only be more Canadian if it was sorry, eh?
Let's go. March 27th, 1977, Pan Am / KLM. This is quite a famous air crash. There he is. Look at him. God damn, that son of a bitch is coming. Get off.
Oh.
And that was, I believe that was on a takeoff. One was coming in, and the runways mixed up, and one was taking off, and one was coming in. They basically, the one who was coming in managed to pull up, kind of, but still ended up scraping the top of the plane. Yeah.
I've read about this one. Yeah.
December 23rd, 1978, Alitalia. I assume that's an Italian airline.
I'm guessing.
So he gave us wrong indications. We thought we were to the left. Boom.
They gave us the wrong indication.
Actually, they always speak really good English, don't they? Regardless of the nationality of pilots.
Yeah, that is. They do. Well, I think it's standard. Everybody speaks English. So
but apparently, the French think that French should be the standard language of air travel, and occasionally French air traffic controllers will speak in French to the pilots.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't sound very fucking
No, it
helpful.
doesn't. But
French.
And I think there's two official languages in the UN, isn't there? English and French.
Yes, so I think the French.
And they always speak French.
Do they?
Do they speak Esperanto?
Esperanto. Well, they're like, when, you know, I mean, fair enough, French are proud people, whatever. They
No, there you go, man.
They refuse to speak English.
Sort your bread out. Put it in a more loaf-shaped thing.
I tell you what, if our workers and citizens were more like the French, we might not get. We'll stink less because you might not get shat on so much than the people above.
Oh, that's Mike's weekly government rant.
Revolution in the streets.
This Mike's weekly governmental rant has been brought to you by going to the Bull and the Post-Truth Apocalypse.
Oh, Jeremy Corbyn.
I've got to get one political rant in a week.
I haven't talked about shagging anything this week. I would totally fuck that aeroplane.
And I hate reggae.
Hey, there you go. Right.
December 28th, 1978, United Airlines. United 173, Mayday, where the engines are flaming out. We're going down. That's quite a tragic one.
Oh.
And I'll follow that up with November 28th, 1917, Air New Zealand, 1979, sorry. Air New Zealand. Actually, these conditions don't look very good at all, do they?
Do it with the accent as well. You know what, mate? Come to think of it, these conditions don't look too bloody great after all, do they?
January 13th, 1982, Air Florida. Larry, we're going down! Oh, Larry, no. I know it!
Oh no, Larry knew it! Poor Larry.
June 8th, 1988, VASP, I don't know what that is. What? There's what? Some hills? Isn't there?
Fuck.
Was that the first blind pilot? There's hills!
Flying by ear.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
February 8th, 1989, Independent Air. Can't keep this SOB thing straight up and down. Oh, that's what we want to hear, is it? That's the last words. February 24th, 1989, United Airlines. What the hell was that? I don't know.
Oh shit, that's why you're dead. What was that? I expect a little bit of a more informed response from my co-pilot. Thank you.
As bad as gazpacho soup.
June 7th, 1989, Suriname Airways. That's it, I'm dead.
Oh fuck. Selfish bastard, should it have been we're dead?
Yeah.
Only think of themselves, these pilots.
September 8th, 1994, US Air. Hang on, what the hell is this?
The floor, mate.
October 31st, 1994, American Eagle. Okay, mellow it out. Boom. Oh, I'll give you a tragic one.
Oh, thanks.
August 21st, 1995, Atlantic Southeast Airlines.
Amy,
I love you.
I knew it would be I love you.
Oh, man.
I'll lighten the mood. December 20th, 1995, American Airlines. Where are we?
You're about
This
to
ain't Kansas anymore.
That's obviously an interdimensional slip. That one.
Where are we? Dimension X. Oh look, it's Captain Burrito. Hola, it's Captain Burrito from a Dimension X.
I shoot Mr. Blobby in the head. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Blobby, I make a piñata out of you. So sorry for the racial overtones.
But he is called Captain Burrito in all fairness. I mean,
yeah.
Grand corners. And mucho grande corners.
I feel like we need to record a mariachi song about Captain Burrito.
Hang on.
Because I quite like mariachi.
I was just about to say, reggae band, mariachi music, good.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben. Oh, for a world-class psychologist.
I never want to perceive your reality, mate.
I was talking about mariachi bands.
But I don't. There's no rhyme or reason to use that. Mariachi, good. Reggae. The devil's music. La cucaracha, la cucaracha.
No, I like the really sad mariachi. None of those like the band from Just So Dawn. Mariachi, technically. A Mexican band.
La 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 bamba.
That's not mariachi.
It's Mexican, though. Okay.
Alright, August 29th, 1996. Oh man, Vnukovo Airlines.
Nova.
Top one, Vnukovo. Yeah.
Russian or something.
Mountains!
God. I never thought that people's last words would be so amusing.
July 4th, 2001, Vladivostikava, Bakaria. That's all, guys. Fuck!
That's all, folks.
That's literally.
That's all, folks.
I'll end on April 10th, Polish 2010, Polish Air Force. Fuck! Which is probably my last words, in all fairness. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So, dear listener, take care if you're on the airplanes.
Yeah, that's been MH370. I hope we didn't dishonour the memory of anyone involved in that. It was...
To be honest, there's no Chinese relatives listening to this.
Probably not.
And if you've Googled MH370 and this podcast has come up, sorry. So
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
We can't end on racism. Sorry.
I'll say I'm Ben, and I'll say good night and stay classy.
I've been Gaz. I will say free Biff Tannen and goodbye.
I've been Mike. Peace out.
Splendid.